What is up, YouTube? It's a boy 31 Champion coming at ya. The life and death of Draco the Ruler. Let's check it out. Wah. Long live Draco the Ruler, bro. Super sad situation that happened to bro. I've been checking out a lot of Draco music that I may have missed throughout his career the past few weeks on stream. For those who do not know, I be streaming daily on Twitch now ever since May 10th. It's been going super good, bro. I got affiliated in the first 3 weeks. It's been looking up for the Twitch, bro. So if y'all ever want to tune into a stream, you can tune in. I always upload on YouTube when I'm live. I also upload on Instagram when I'm live. Much love to everyone who shows love to the West Coast joints. The West Coast joints have been one of the most successful things that I've been checking out this year. So I appreciate all of y'all, bro. Let's get right into this. I'm excited to learn more about his lore, learn more about what he be saying in his music, bro. Because I know that he beat some crazy cases. I know that he's part of Stink Team. I know that he's done some real shit, dude. So let's find out. This is my first ever video I'm watching from Trap Lore Ross. I've had, at this point, a couple to few people ask me to check this out. So we are finally getting to it. Let's get it. All these socials will be down below. I'll leave some Draco reactions at the end. Let's check it out.
Who sadly lost their lives.
Chaos at a packed concert. A person was stabbed and police have shut down the show.
The spotlight's on me. These motherfuckers are scared of me, bro. Watch what you say. Watch who you hang around with.
Can't no LA rapper that's out here that's mainstream say he beat a murder, attempted murder, 5 attempted murder, and a DP.
You know, people are out to get me. I can't even be slipping like that to where somebody catching me like.
The homies gonna get you.
The victim was rapper Draco the Ruler. It happened around 8:30 last night during the Once Upon a Time in LA Music Festival being held at the Bank of California Stadium.
Like, bro, did he get set up, man?
On December the 18th, 2021, Draco the Ruler, real name Daryl Caldwell, was booked to perform at the Los Angeles Music Festival Once Upon a Time in LA. This would be a $50,000
That was a week after Rolling Loud, bro.
payday for Draco, and only his second performance in his home city since getting out of jail the previous year. But Draco would never make it to the stage that night, because while he was walking through the venue with a small entourage of around 6 people, story goes he was ambushed by as many as 80 Blood Gang members after being spotted by his enemies backstage. This confrontation ended in a huge brawl where unfortunately Draco would end up being stabbed in the neck, ultimately losing his life in the hospital. But what could Draco have possibly done to have caused the Bloods to want to hunt him down and kill him on sight? Well, over the past few years, Draco the Ruler had
We have listened to that. We did react to this.
been taking the LA rap scene by storm, but his musical come-up was marred by legal issues, particularly a controversial murder case which he ended up beating after spending around 3 years in jail, much to the disappointment of local prosecutors. Upon his release, Draco would go on a
To much disappointment of the prosecutors. Get better facts. Get better evidence. Blame yourself, my boy. The lawyers did their thing. They did their work. It's all legal. Shut the fuck up.
relentless campaign, putting his pain into music and taking over the LA rap scene with regular releases of tough guy anthems about a life of crime. But while Draco was beginning to rule the scene with his music, since getting out of jail, he had also been heavily active on social media, using it to provoke his rivals and stoke up beefs.
That is not smart, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. Definitely not smart.
Actively blurring the lines between competitive rap rivalries and all-out gang war. And this habit would ultimately bleed into Draco's music, with his gangster rap hits often.
We actually listened to 2 of these songs on the past stream earlier. I listened to Pop Punk Bitch, and then I listened to the song with T Grizzly. Super good shit.
laced with incendiary taunts aimed at his rivals, mocking their losses in the streets. In fact, the songs that Draco was releasing after beating his murder case were full of offensive catchphrases like "he's never coming back and that's that," or "he's no longer." When he was on the mic, Draco loved embarrassing and mocking his enemies. But the 2021 release of a diss song called Englewood would
I have not heard that song.
see Draco making a complete mockery of the entire blood-affiliated city of Englewood. This song would ultimately make Draco a marked man in LA, and within only a few months of the release of this song, Draco would indeed end up being murdered in a horrific fashion. So far, the police have hit a wall of silence in the investigation of Draco the Ruler's murder, with no one willing to talk to the police on both sides. But if you look close enough at Draco's career in the lead up to his tragic passing, you'll find a few clues as to why people in the city of LA might have wanted to get him out of the way. So today, let's take a close look at the wild life of Draco the Ruler, his many beefs, hit songs, and legal issues, to better understand how he ended up in this situation with millions of fans and an entire city wanting to kill him.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Draco the Ruler was truly no stranger to LA's criminal underworld. He was getting in trouble with the law from an incredibly early age, claiming to have been arrested for the first time at the young age of just 12, after apparently stealing $1 from a tip jar.
Bro, are we dead ass? Are we dead ass, dude? You can't get arrested at 12 years old, bro. Bro, no. That's not real. Bro, what?
I went to jail for?
You're 12.
Oh man, I took $1 out of tip jar.
$1?
And then I tried to put it back.
After getting his first taste of law breaking, a preteen Draco would end up being shipped off to a youth correctional facility known as a camp. But unfortunately, it didn't seem that this camp-style punishment
No way that happens over stealing $1. $1? Are we dead ass?
would address the root cause of Draco's issues. And apparently from here, a young Draco would continue to rack up teenage criminal charges, mainly related to burglary and gun possession, landing him in various youth correctional facilities throughout his teens. But Draco wouldn't be catching these early cases alone, but it would seem that many of Draco's early forays into crime were actually backed up by his younger brother, Ralphie the Plug, who would
We've listened to Ralphie multiple times also.
tell Adam22 in a No Jumper interview that he was really out here catching cases for robbery with Draco at age 11.
When you first get locked up?
Shit, when I was 11.
11?
Mm-hmm.
For what?
Matter of fact, me and Draco had our first case together. Bullshit, attempted robbery, bullshit, little shit.
So is this an armed attempted robbery? Or
Nah,
just...
No way we're calling a $1 stealing a robbery. A $1 robbery? What?
Hell no, not at 11. We're armed at 11. This ain't Chicago. He ain't out here just tripping like that.
Sadly, as Draco got older, he'd continue to be involved in crime and the risks associated with it. He'd end up getting shot while still a freshman at Washington High, just age 15, eventually being kicked out of school completely, eventually winding up making a living through home invasions, or flu flamming as he would call it. You see, apparently Draco and his buddies were pretty regular flu flammers, with their door-to-door robbery team apparently being known as the Too Greedy Family, or later the Stink Team. Now, according to accusations by prosecutors, members of the Too Greedy Family were known as flockers, an LA term used for burglary crews, often targeting Asian households. And apparently a result of the crew's heritage in robbing LA's Asian community, a lot of the Too Greedy Family and Stink Team's artwork and jewelry would bear an Asian theme. And this obsession with Asian culture carried over into the music too, with Draco often rapping about Mei Ling taking him shopping, which an LA Times article covering Draco said is Draco's way of describing breaking into an Asian woman's house, robbing it, and buying out Neiman Marcus.
Bro, what's up with the Asians? What's wrong with the Asians? Why?
Now, for the record, Draco has maintained that he simply likes Asian iconography, suggesting that the Buddha and cat logos that his crew frequently use are simply symbols of good business and good luck. However, if Draco's 2015 tweets are anything to go by, it's hard to say he has much respect for the Asian community. But Draco and his crew's targeting of the Asian community with home invasions isn't simply due to prejudice. Apparently, home invaders targeting the Asian community is an age-old tradition amongst LA burglars, due to the apparent fact that Asian communities have an inherent distrust of traditional banks, with lower rates of bank account ownership.
Oh shit. So it's more profit. It's for the profit margins.
Meaning a large proportion are likely to keep cash in their homes, thus putting them at risk to LA home invaders like Draco and the Stink Team, who are desperate to make off with that cash and spend it on designer clothes at Neiman Marcus. But Draco isn't the only LA rapper to speak on flamming or flocking. Compton rapper YG's 2014 track Meet the Flockers would catch some heat after people
Meet the Flockers. That's crazy.
noticed some lyrics suggesting that his crew would target Asian homes for robberies for the very same reasons.
Find a Chinese neighborhood because they don't believe in bank accounts. You find a crew and a driver, someone to ring the doorbell, and someone that ain't scared to do what it do. You pull up at the spot, park, watch, ring the doorbell and knock. Make sure nobody's home. Then you kick that motherfucker down, oh my.
Anywho, despite being plugged into LA's criminal underworld, Draco the Ruler doesn't claim affiliation to any particular LA gang set, even going as far as to suggest during an interview on No Jumper that most rappers claim gang affiliation purely for protection.
Or does Draco gangbang?
We don't do all that. Okay.
Bro, Adam used to ask the most fed-ass questions, bro, like, do you gangbang? Do you gangbang? Like, bro, what are we talking about, bro? Are you a fed?
Just be gangbanging for protection. Bombs.
To be honest, calling most of LA's gang population bums is a pretty brave thing to do, but that says a lot about how Draco moved. He was fearless, and he did not care who he offended. And despite not claiming a known gang set, Draco did hail from South Central Los Angeles, around the 100s, which is a neighborhood Crip territory. And as a result, over the course of his career, Draco maintained friendships with a number of sets of LA's neighborhood Crips, like the Rolling 40s, who he would publicly shout out on his social media.
Man, shout out to all the 40s, man. Happy Hood Day to the Crips.
So as a result of his gang connections and his background in home invasions, it's no surprise that the local police would categorize the Stink Team itself as a gang in its own right. Even though in the later stages of his career, Draco would maintain that his team were focused on the rapping rather than the streets, with Draco's lawyer later explaining that the local police are quick to conflate anybody that grew up around gangs as being a gang member.
Some prosecution's theory, anybody that grows up in a community that has gangs in it and they know gang members, they're gang affiliated, right?
Despite Draco
Bro, no way Adam got his lawyer on the pod. That's crazy. That's legendary.
insistence that the Stink Team was just a rap crew, prosecutors would think otherwise. Court documents would later claim that the Too Greedy family, or Stink Team, was a gang around 20 to 30 members strong, noting the fact that various members of the Stink Team also belonged to various factions of LA's neighborhood Crips, like the Rolling Hundreds and Rolling 40s. And ultimately, whether he liked it or not, the cops would categorize the Stink Team as a gang, with Draco the Ruler at the top of the food chain. Draco would be running things with his blood brother, Ralphie the Plug. The top up-and-coming artist other than Draco on their label was Ketchy the Great, and they would roll alongside a number of other affiliates including Bambino, Say So the Mac, Solo, Good Finesse, Money Monk, Kells, with connections to the Rolling 100s Crips, Young Bull, with apparent connections to the Rolling 30s, Too Shitty, with connections to the Rolling 60s, a teenage hitter by the name of AB or Arlington Blue, with connections to the Rolling 40s, and another rapper named Remble who would join the crew much later on.
I did not know Remble was a part of Stink Team, bro. I did react to a song with Stink Team and Remble, so that makes sense, but the only other one I heard of was Money Monk, bro.
According to the police, the Stink Team were
and obviously Ketchy, obviously, and Ralphie, you know.
And another rapper named Remble who would join the crew much later on. According to the police, the Stink Team were a ruthless gang made up of Crips and home invaders. But in Draco's eyes, his crew of former flammers were really just the next generation of LA's grimiest street rappers. And under Draco's rule, for a period of time, they would take over the LA street rap scene, flooding the streets with a flurry of hit songs and mixtapes, building up a huge buzz that could only be stopped by the cops.
We are off to Draco Rules the Rap Game. We have a few chapters.
Footage of Draco rapping on YouTube exists as early as 2011. He was a prolific YouTube uploader, publishing early freestyles over other rappers' beats all the way through the 2012s, as well as posting clips of him hanging out with his Too Greedy family.
Okay, what they call you, Brody?
Me, Draco the Ruler, fool.
I be Lieutenant Ketchy in this thing. I ain't ready for him. Tell him to Jeremy Scott.
But it was in 2013 that Draco got serious about releasing music properly, dropping his first mixtape, Nervous Music, which featured the headline track I'm Nervous, featuring Kells from the Stink Team, uploaded to YouTube on November the 12th, 2012.
Bro, should I react to that? Let me know.
And the description of Draco's music as, quote, nervous music would persist throughout his career, with lyrics about nervously toting pistols in trap houses becoming a staple of his whole catalogue. But at this stage, he was still just finding his sound, and the music was heavily influenced by an array of other artists. Tracks like Muddy Mosley showed his early influences by Chicago drill. He'd go on to drop a music video for another Chicago-inspired track called Young and Reckless, showing him surrounded by his too greedy team. Seeing Draco surrounded by a mob of goons while he rapped over a booming trap beat was definitely reminiscent of early Chief Keef, but Draco was drawing inspiration from numerous sources. His Can You Blame Me music video dropped on June the 2nd, 2013, seemingly taking more inspiration from A$AP Rocky in both his flow and the visuals. And this combination of pistol-toting thug aesthetic borrowed from Chief Keef and the designer clothing expensive cough syrup sipping tropes from A$AP Rocky would essentially be the foundations of Draco's unique style of rapping. Draco is essentially a well-dressed robber that will shoot you in a designer jacket and not spill his lean while he's doing it. And as his rapping style developed, he would continue dropping mixtapes, with the next one being Mr. Mosley the Mixtape, dropping in 2014. This had the track Real Flockers, with Draco appearing to take some inspiration from West Coast peers like YG and Tiger.
Who is Mr. Mosley, though? Who is that?
As well as tracks like Round Here, with Draco still showing a big Chicago influence. The track In Love with Mr. Mosley featuring Too Shitty would see Draco rapping over more of a classic West Coast style beat, while tracks like You Can't Afford It with Kells and J-Dep were clearly influenced by early Atlanta trap music. You can tell that Draco was striving around this time to make bigger and better music and grow as an artist. Unfortunately, a big break was just around the corner. On February the 19th, 2015, Draco drops an early version of his song Mr. Get Dough, with an updated version of the music video for the track being uploaded to YouTube on March 11th, 2015. This was a breakthrough track for Draco, with him rapping over a minimal West Coast piano beat, rapping all about getting money and making away in high-speed chases. The track picked up a lot of steam in the streets of LA and put Draco on a lot of people's radar. And at some point he gets introduced to LA music production titan DJ Mustard, with an introduction apparently coming—
Bro, look how big DJ Mustard used to be, bro. That dude was big as fuck, dude. Holy shit. Look how big he used to be, bro.
Introduced to LA music production titan DJ Mustard, with an introduction apparently coming courtesy of YG's brother, whom Draco had apparently known since high school. Draco's breakout track Mr. Get Dough would end up getting a remix from DJ Mustard, who added his own up-and-coming artists RJ and Choice to the track alongside Draco, with the new version of the song releasing on April the 14th, 2015. This was one of the first times that many casual LA rap fans would have heard Draco, and he picked up particular attention for his rapping style, using a lot of obscure and made-up slang, or lingo bingo as he would call it, and his lazy, mumble style of rapping, which many believed was the consequence of his heavy recreational use of codeine-based cough syrup. Damn. Clearly fans liked what they heard when Draco popped up on DJ Mustard's remix, and they wanted to hear more. So on October the 16th, 2015, Draco's groundbreaking new mixtape I Am Mr. Mosley would release on DJ Mustard's label.
Wow, that is huge. I did not know this.
This project is apparently what created the first real buzz around the Stink team, and as we got into 2016, Draco and his team would capitalize off the back of the hype, and following up with much more polished music videos, like the April 24th, 2016 music video for the track Devil in My Head. But while Draco was up in the production values, he was also battling for the future of his career behind the scenes. Wow. And Draco would later claim during a DJ Vlad interview that he was being pressured to sign a full-blown record deal with DJ Mustard, which he declined to do, ultimately leading Mustard and his team to begin treating Draco differently.
So then you signed under Mustard?
I didn't sign.
Nah?
Nah, I was just with him, like, I guess.
That's crazy. They wanted him to sign his soul. That's crazy.
Cause I didn't want to sign, so then that's, I guess, when like people from his group, like, guess they was mad at me because I didn't want to sign, so.
So in the end, Draco decided to go his own route. He followed up that DJ Mustard supported mixtape with a new offering on July the 21st, 2016, a completely independent mixtape called I Am Mr.
I've heard a couple songs from here, nah.
Mosley 2, presented this time by his own Stink Team label rather than DJ Mustard's crew. Sure, it might have been a step down in quality of the cover art, but it was a big step forward for Draco in keeping control of his music career. And the project was another opportunity for Draco to continue developing his signature style, this time injecting his personality and sense of humor into his tracks with absurd and sometimes hilarious premises for his new songs. For example, there's the crazy cut Shoot a Baby, which ended up
I've not heard of that song, bro. I need to check that out.
Getting a music video in September 2016, with Draco rapping that he has killers on standby that are so dedicated to the cause that they will literally shoot a baby if he asks them, with Draco in the music video with a Draco sticking up a fake baby. Draco was carving out his own lane in the rap game, putting his personality into his music, and the fans were loving it. And Draco would actually later say in a DJ Vlad interview that everybody doubted him after he parted ways with DJ Mustard, but in the end, he was able to carve out his own path and get respect independently.
Bro, that's crazy, dude. Getting disrespected hard for trying to stay independent is insane, dude. Draco knew that he didn't need a deal to be successful, and he was getting hated on that? Nah. Getting hated for that's insane.
A lot of people were saying like, damn, bro, like, you did this without Mustard. Like, they thought like, oh, he ain't with Mustard no more. Like, he gonna fall off. Well, he with Mustard, okay, yeah, like, Mustard probably did this for him. Mustard probably did this, but then you see, like, I'm not with him, but I still got the same.
Draco's parting with DJ Mustard would be just
because he was doing the same shit he was doing with Mustard before Mustard. Of course, he's gonna do the same shit after.
just the first of many steps in upsetting the balance of LA's highly political rap scene. And as the months went on, Draco would find himself embroiled in a feud with a former collaborator, leading Draco and his former friend to go back and forth on social media, with Draco's public threats against his new musical rival sadly being used against him in the worst possible way.
Draco versus RJ against Mustard's artist. Damn!
After Draco declined to do further business with DJ Mustard, tension would begin to form between their camps. And soon, Mustard's artist RJ, who had appeared on the Mr. Get Dough remix with Draco, would begin taking competitive jabs at Draco. In fact, Draco would even explain to DJ Vlad that when he stopped working with DJ Mustard, RJ would pick his side.
Was it when you kind of stopped messing with Mustard that
pretty much, yeah, when I went
and RJ took?
What a dick sucker, dude. Maybe RJ got told to do this, but if he did this on his own free will, you're a dick sucker, my boy.
Mustard's side?
Yeah, I guess that's what it was like.
From here, RJ would grow even closer to DJ Mustard and continue driving his career forward, dropping tracks like Get Rich in April 2015. And at a certain point, RJ rebrands and begins to call himself RJ Mr. LA. Now, this seems like a previous reference to Draco calling himself Mr. Get Dough in the song him and RJ appeared on. And it really seemed like RJ was trying to kind of claim the more superior title of Mr. LA, essentially saying that he runs the rap scene in the city. Apparently, Draco was upset about RJ's claim to the title of Mr. LA, suggesting that because he was the one who came up with Mr. Get Dough, he really was Mr. Everything. But from here, soon RJ would be dropping lyrics attempting to get under Draco's skin even further. RJ's May 2016 track, Only One, is a competitive diss track seemingly aimed at Draco, where RJ claims that he is the only one poppin' in the hood now. And RJ would back this sentiment up in an August 2016 tweet, where he claimed that he only gets mentioned alongside the greats when it comes to LA street rappers. Draco would clap back at this sentiment in a tweet of his own,
"You and me both." That's a good response.
Saying, "You and me both," suggesting that both him and RJ are greats in the city of LA. But RJ would disagree with this, saying, nah, Draco isn't as good as him. This led Draco to clap back, saying RJ can't possibly believe that, ultimately saying maybe RJ had LA's rap scene once.
I got the streets, you had it. You're washed, my boy. Oh my.
But Draco has it now. Following that tweet up with the devastating closer, responding to RJ saying that he runs the streets of LA, saying, "That's not what LA's saying, Mr. LA." As the months went by, the beef between Draco and RJ would intensify. On October the 19th, 2016, Draco would release his new song Evil Knievel, dissing RJ, saying that he's already been Mr. LA and that he is Mr. Everything. And later that month, on October the 27th, 2016, somebody would tweet asking why are RJ and Draco beefing, to which RJ would reply, jealousy.
What? Yeah, you're jealous, my boy. What? You're jealous that Draco didn't sign his soul and stayed independent. Yeah, I bet you're real jealous, my boy.
Draco would then reply to that tweet, saying that he's got a better car than RJ, so why would he be jealous? Pointing out that he drives a brand new 2016 Mercedes GLE Coupe SUV, while RJ only drives a 2012 Mercedes S650.
Alright, bro. Rich people arguing is crazy, bro. I drive this really expensive car. You only drive this really expensive car. That's just crazy, bro. Why are we doing this?
RJ would clap back to this car measuring contest, suggesting that Draco's GLE coupe is much more like a BMW X6, essentially suggesting that Draco's choice of Mercedes is a feminine one. Now, for now, this beef had only played out in songs and on Twitter, and these Twitter exchanges were going around the same time that RJ was actually on tour with YG on the F Donald Trump tour. But apparently whilst RJ was on tour with YG, Draco was waiting for him back in LA, even posting up on social media telling RJ that he is literally waiting for him to get back from tour.
If you see me in LA, you're gonna see me in LA. Mr. LA, and I'ma have some bands on me.
On November the 17th,
I'm gonna have some bands on me. Try to take them if you can. Oh my.
2016, RJ would drop the song Warning, a Draco the Ruler diss, remixing his song Uchis. Now, the track came with an intro skit sampling Friday After Next, which RJ essentially used to infer that he was better than Draco in every.
My dick is bigger than yours. It was cold that night. Why are we saying my dick is bigger than yours in a diss? What?
Way, with RJ going on to rap lyrics, subliminally dissing his ops, saying that they're not threatening, and suggesting that his fame made people in the city hate him. He would rap lines about his ops making up their own cliques and acting like they're gangbangers, with this perhaps being a reference to how Draco formed the Stink Team rather than joining the neighborhood Crip gangs in the area that he grew up in. It's worth pointing out at this stage that allegedly RJ claims affiliation to the Athens Park Bloods. So despite Draco not specifically claiming a gang, there's clearly some kind of underlying affiliations contributing to this beef. Following the release of Warning, RJ would drop a flurry of tracks and music videos too, with his close connection to fellow Blood rapper YG on display in music videos like Blood dropping in November 2016. Now, the very same day that that track dropped on the 21st, Draco would go on to drop his new song Mr. Everything, another obvious reference to RJ calling himself
Damn, bro. He's on point with them titles.
Mr. LA after Draco had been calling himself Mr. Get Dough. Draco's new song Mr. Everything was an outright effort to let everybody know that he was bigger than Mr. LA. He also wears a blue bandana in the video, which despite Draco's frequent statements that he doesn't belong to any Crip sets, must have been a small indication, likely a response to RJ's Blood affiliation. In the song, Draco says he's sliding through the hoods of the people that talk about him.
Wait, let's read that.
RJ's Blood affiliation. In the song, Draco says he
put that Draco down, Draco. These dudes talking. Bring your table in the club. Don't even talk to us. Walk it out, put a beam on it and shock them out. How to slide through your hood and show out. Fuck you talking about lethal? You're not lethal, my boy.
He's sliding through the hoods of the people that talk about him. He says that he'll get RJ whacked by his own people for trying to be him. He says RJ's broke and has fake watches. And the hook of the song has Draco saying he's Mr. Everything and that his ops lie in their raps and steal his image and style. Draco also seemingly responds to the accusation that he made his gang up, saying the Stink Team are bigger and richer than RJ's Blood set. And Draco also says in the second verse of the song that he is trying to knock one of his peoples and saying that he has 20,000 on him, leading
we'll have him singing like The Weeknd.
many people to believe that he actually had a hit out on RJ. If Draco's lyrics were to be taken seriously, he was putting money on RJ's head and actively plotting to kill him. However, Draco and his team would insist that this was all just a music rivalry and that they had no intentions to harm RJ. Unfortunately, this very feud would come back to haunt Draco, with an unrelated murder taking place and Draco and his team ending up as the prime suspects. Sadly, this catalogue of gangbanging and gun-toting anthems would have the whole Stink Team, especially Draco, looking guilty as sin.
Damn. The murder. Of who? Of Red Bull.
You'll be aware at this point that while Draco the Ruler doesn't claim an alliance to a specific LA gang set, he's got a lot of collaborators, friends, and affiliates who do claim gang sets associated with the neighborhood Crips. And one of these Crip-affiliated Stink Team members is Kells of the Rolling Hundreds. Kells would appear on the song Chunky Monkey with Draco and Ralphie on October the 25th, 2016. A track all about keeping a big gun, or as they call it, a chunky monkey, with Stink Team members dancing around in the music video wearing gorilla masks and toting chunky monkeys. But it would turn out that these chunky monkeys weren't just for showing off in the music video. It was clear that the Stink Team would need to protect themselves around this period, as according to a Fader article, the very month that this video was released, Draco, Ketchy, and 2 Shitty of the Stink Team were all shot at in separate incidents. It's still unclear exactly why or who would want to kill the Stink Team, but their ongoing feuds with other Blood Gang associated rappers, and their close affiliation with various Crip sets clearly hadn't done them any favors.
Was it
Whilst
confusing?
Draco's ongoing rivalry with Athens Park Blood RJ was getting a lot of attention because of the music that they were making, it would actually be the neighborhood Crips' ongoing street war with the Englewood family Gangsta Bloods that would ultimately bring tragedy to the Stink Team. The Englewood family Gangsta Bloods, or IFGB, or simply Englewood Family's Gang, IFG, are an LA blood set with a long and storied history. They mainly beef with neighborhood Crip gangs like the Rolling 60s and Rolling Hundreds, gang sets which the Stink Team apparently have close affiliations with. And in the streets, one of the biggest names associated with Englewood is Munchie B, an Englewood blood with a fearsome reputation in the streets. But his reign as a hardened hitter would be cut short after he was shot in the head and left blind, apparently the result of an internal conflict.
Oh, nah, man. Wow. Prayers up to that guy.
But even without his sight, Munchie B would remain an influential figure in LA gang politics for years to come. In fact, Munchie B would end up being interviewed alongside fellow Englewood Bloods, Baby Dot and Red Bull, giving the history of their hood to a channel called Street TV.
Munchie B, Englewood Family Gangsters. Red Bull, non-deuce Englewood Family. Somebody put up on the side of my car and let off a gang of shots. You know what I mean? So I ended up taking a shot to the head.
Bro had the classic Cleveland Indians logo. Beautiful logo.
Shit, but unfortunately I ended up losing my sight.
And during that interview, this trio of Englewood Bloods would also explain their connections to DJ Mustard and YG.
Yeah, it go way back to the chain gang. Before it's Englewood Family, it's called the chain gang. All these LA-based rappers, we pretty much all partied together before they blew up, though. The boy Ty, Mustard, YG, J305.
So with the rivalry between the Stink Team and DJ Mustard, YG and RJ heating up off the back of diss tracks, you can see why there's a lot of interconnected reasons why the Bloods and the Stinks aren't going to get along. And to make matters worse, it would later emerge that Stink Team member Kells had an active feud with Red Bull, the Englewood family blood, who had appeared alongside Munchie B in that Street TV interview. Red Bull allegedly also had a serious reputation when it came to Englewood gang politics, but sadly, Red Bull would eventually run into the Stink Team with deadly consequences. Because on Saturday, the 10th of December 2016, several members of the Stink Team, including Kells and Draco, were chilling at Draco's house. And it was here that Draco would see what was later described as a pay-for-entry pajama party advertised on Instagram, with Draco rallying the Stink Team to go from his place to the party, with plans for 17-year-old Crip affiliate Arlington Blue, aka AB, real name Jaden Boyd, planning to join the Stink Team en route. The whole crew would travel in a 5-car convoy to the party in Carson, around 15 minutes away from Draco's apartment, with the crew arriving to the area and parking their cars. At some point, Too Shitty from the Stink Team approaches Draco's car to tell him that members from Englewood families are there, with Draco apparently suggesting at this point that the crew leave. However, within seconds, Red Bull from Englewood, real name Davon Gregory, would walk past the Stink Team. This was a completely chance encounter, with Red Bull apparently being spotted at the wrong place in the wrong time by his opposition, with Kells and AB, the neighborhood Crips that were also in the Stink Team, who had an active feud with Red Bull and the Englewood families, pulling pistols and opening fire as soon as they saw him.
What the fuck?
Shooting erupted at around 11:30 p.m, leaving 2 unrelated people injured, and Red Bull shot numerous times, sadly later losing his life.
Long live Red Bull, bro. I don't wish death on anyone, bro, and obviously this is not my beef. Bro did not deserve that shit. Let's be 100% honest. Long live Red Bull, bro.
Were fired at a birthday party in Carson.
Damn.
3 men were hit and one of them has now died. The shooting happened just before midnight in the 100 block of West Victoria Street.
Sad.
The shootout was just in front of the building that housed the party. Deputies say as many as 100 people were attending what they describe as a pay-for-entry adult-themed party.
You gotta just think, this is a party setting. Homie probably went to the whip to maybe get some wraps or get his lighter or something. Probably drunk. He just walks by not even knowing and... Nah, dude, that's sad.
These women told me about 30 young men showed up after the party started and were turned away because they didn't have IDs and some had guns. Something happened in the parking lot, shots were fired, and the next thing that these 2 women told me that they knew was that someone who had been shot in the parking lot ran back into the party.
After the shooting, Kells turned to Draco and bragged of how he emptied his entire clip into Red Bull. And apparently following the shooting, the Stink Team jumped back into their cars, driving back to Draco's apartment in complete silence, with the group apparently being unaware that Red Bull had even died until they saw it on the news at 3 a.m. the next day. A vigil for Red Bull would take place in his hood the next day, with the local police moving dirty and targeting the event, shooting somebody and arresting a whopping 10 people.
We have learned that 10 people who were at the gathering have been arrested. They say the event was a memorial for a 24-year-old man killed at a party in Carson Saturday night. NBC4 covered that as well. But last night, around 10:30, LAPD says 2 units from the Gang Enforcement Division out of Southeast Station approached a group of about 30 people outside a home on 99th Street west of Figueroa. LAPD describes the gathering as a party and says as officers approached, some of the people in the group started running away. One man allegedly pulled a gun and shot at the officers.
Bro, this is crazy, dude. This whole lore is insane. It's unreal.
They were not hit, but one at least returned fire.
Red Bull's friend Baby Dot, who had appeared in that Street TV interview with him alongside Munchie B, would later speak on his friend's passing in a follow-up interview.
He was up there chilling, standing in line, and some shit jumped off, and he happened to be one of the people who happened to take the downfall for him, man. Well, that shit hit close, man. Like, Red Bull was like the first homie I lost in a long time that I was actually really close with. And once you lose that certain person that's damn near like a brother to you, it hit a little harder to home.
Munchie B would also mourn the loss of Red Bull, later releasing an emotional tribute song to him called R.I.P. RB. Now, initially, detectives didn't have anything to link Red Bull's murder to the Stink Team, and after the shooting went down, Draco would return to music and go on to drop some of the best songs of his career. Problem is, he probably didn't realize that he was leaving evidence behind at every turn. On December the 16th, 2016, Draco's new song Bully Breaker drops, with detectives later saying that it was this music video that helped them find the location of Draco's apartment. And then, just over a week after that, Draco would drop another music video filmed in his apartment, The Impatient Freestyle.
Legendary.
The December 18th, 2016 music video would go on to be the most viewed music video of Draco's career, racking up over 31 million YouTube views to date.
Now it's at over 60.
And the video for Impatient featured Draco and his crew posted up in his apartment, showing off a bunch of big guns, as well as scenes filmed in a parking garage, as always showing off his beloved Mercedes GLE Coupe. The song itself included thugged out lyrics all about guns, shootings, and a line where he literally says, if you want to represent the Stink Team, you need to hop out the car and kill someone.
I remember that. Yeah, that is very, what do you call it? Self-incriminating.
Following this, Draco's third mixtape, So Cold I Do 'Em, dropped on Christmas Day 2016. The mixtape featured a front cover, once again sporting Draco's signature Mercedes SUV. It was a great mixtape, but unfortunately for Draco, that Mercedes SUV that he'd been putting in his music videos and on the cover of his tapes, and bragging about on Twitter, matched the description of a vehicle that was seen leaving the scene of Red Bull's murder. And very soon, the feds would come knocking for the Stink Team, ready to do everything in their power to take them down.
Holy shit. Yeah, that is self-incrimination at its finest. Start using Reynolds, my boy. The Stink Team.
On the 31st of December 2016, Draco drops the Flex Freestyle. This is a remix of RJ's song Flex, a retaliation to RJ remixing Draco's song on Warning, and it features a lyric where Draco says that he has RJ tied up in the back of his car. This was a pretty inane lyric aiming to poke fun at a rival, but sadly it would come back to haunt Draco massively. Because while Draco was recording music and videos, trying to push his rap career forward, local police were watching his videos and reading his lyrics, intensely looking for clues to connect the Stink Team to the December 10th murder of Red Bull. And
that's crazy, bro. He had the feds watching. Nah, that's crazy.
Soon they would have the connection that they needed. Because at this point, all the cops had were bullets and shell casings from 38 and 40 caliber pistols, as well as surveillance footage and witnesses placing a Mercedes SUV at the scene. However, at some point, detectives working the case hear Draco's name mentioned on an unrelated wiretap, plus the victim's family telling cops that they heard rumors that Draco was somehow involved in the murder. This was apparently all that was needed to tie Draco to the crime, and at this point, the cops decided to close in.
The thing is, though, Draco's team may have done it, but you just can't go for the top dog. That's not smart at all, bro. That's not smart.
A couple of days after the Flex freestyle, one day after Draco's son was born, and one day after New Year's on the 2nd of January 2017, the members of the Stink Team are all hanging out at the LA condo where Draco had filmed his earlier Impatient freestyle and the Bully Breaker music video. According to later court documents, Draco's distinctive Mercedes being parked outside alerted the cops that he was indeed in the property. Draco's apartment was then raided by the SWAT team, who found Draco's family and the Stink Team in the house in the presence of a number of firearms. The cops would arrest Draco and his homies, including his brother Ralphie the Plug, with Draco receiving 6 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, with Draco later telling DJ Vlad that he racked up a total of 9 counts that day.
Every single one.
How many guns?
Only one. 9.
So all 9 guns, they said, were yours?
Yeah, every single one.
And apparently even Draco's mother and sister were there, getting arrested alongside a whole bunch of the Stink Team members.
What? My mom, my sister, Too Shitty, his baby mama, and Bambino, Solo, my brother. It was a lot of people. It was a lot of people.
Nothing connecting Draco or the Stink Team to the murder of Red Bull was found that day, and apparently the guns that were found in the property were not the ones used in the murder of Red Bull. But
they did have a brain. They're not gonna keep the same gun that they used in the scene at their place. What? That shit's probably in the bottom of a river.
Regardless, Draco would still be headed to jail, with rap blogs beginning to position him as LA's Gucci Mane. Fortunately, Draco was able to continue to release music and music videos from behind bars, with pre-recorded tracks like Cocoon releasing publicly over this period. In a February 2017 interview with LA Weekly from jail, Draco said he was optimistic about his release and vowing to hit the studio as soon as he got home. But perhaps he shouldn't have been so optimistic, because while Draco was remaining solid in his cell, the same couldn't be said about some of his Stink Team brethren. After being arrested, Stink Team member Too Shitty is placed into a cell with an undercover informant, who's planted there wearing a wire specifically to gather information about Red Bull's murder.
What? Nah, bro, that is next level Fed work. I didn't know feds could do that. They can be an undercover inmate? That's some movie shit.
Now, this is part of a controversial strategy where the local detectives take advantage of a loophole where they're allowed to send in jailhouse informants undercover as long as it's done before suspects are formally charged. It's a slippery tactic, but it sure does work, as it was later revealed in court that Too Shitty had spilled the beans to this informant completely, admitting directly to the undercover that the shooter was that 17-year-old Crip called AB, or Arlington Blue, real name Jaden Boyd.
Bro, really spilled the beans? You didn't stay silent. You're supposed to never think about that shit again, my boy. You're supposed to say, what? What are you talking about? What? Nah, that's crazy.
The Rolling 40s Crip who had accompanied the Stink Team to that party. After Too Shitty's confession, AB is then arrested himself and placed into a cell with another undercover informant, posing as an OG Crip. And once again, AB confesses the crime and many specific details to this undercover snitch, with a 1 hour, 22-minute recording of their conversation even being played to the court.
Bro, fucking rookies.
During this conversation, AB admitted outright that he shot Red Bull with the .38 pistol, as well as saying that it was Kells shooting with the .40 Glock. AB even admitted that he had been actively beefing with Red Bull over this period and had planned to shoot him on sight, even going as far as to break down why he used a .38 pistol specifically so that he didn't leave behind shell casings. I mean, he literally admitted to the undercover directly that he got caught on camera smoking somebody.
Bro, what is this shit?
He admitted shooting the man directly 2 times, but denied shooting him in the head, quite literally saying definitively that he popped Kerr. Now, during this conversation, AB only incriminated himself and Kells, essentially saying nothing to implicate Draco. And as far as Draco's concerned, at this point it really should have been case closed, because the 2 shooters had been identified specifically, and there wasn't a single mention of Draco's role in the murder to be found at all. In fact, during this time, the cops even tried to put an undercover informant into Draco's cell too, with a 1.5-minute recording captured within Draco's cell revealing absolutely nothing. Because there was nothing to speak on. From start to finish, it appeared clearly established that AB and Kells killed Red Bull in a split-second decision, with Draco apparently completely unaware of what was going to unfold that night. So, the cops would have no choice but to let Draco go, for now. But sadly, they would hold a grudge, and only after a few months of freedom, the cops would return to try and pull off a tricky maneuver, using flimsy evidence and a convoluted case to take Draco off the streets once again, this time at the height of his fame.
When was this? What year? The return of Draco.
Draco would spend 10 months in jail before eventually being released on bail in November 2017. And as soon as he's released from jail, Draco gets out and spends around 10 days in the studio recording 16 tracks for his new mixtape, Cold Devil, which releases on December the 26th, 2017. This mixtape was the biggest release of Draco's career to date, cementing him as one of LA's foremost independent street rappers. Pitchfork reviewed the album positively, calling it the most compelling release of his career, and Draco backed up the tape with music videos of the most compelling songs. Flu Flamming was Draco's flagship anthem of being a home invader targeting the Asian community, laced with tongue-in-cheek lyrics about Mei Ling taking him shopping.
I be ling ling boppin', Mei Ling just took me shopping.
He had other classic tracks like Big Bank Uchis and Out the Slums with 03 Greedo, with the videos for these tracks racking up millions of views and cementing Draco's place as one of LA's most popping rappers. But naturally, this didn't stop the haters, as people like former collaborator Scheme were releasing diss tracks aimed at Draco shortly after his release. But Draco wouldn't let the haters stop him, and he would continue promoting himself and his career. On December the 14th, 2017, Draco popped up alongside his brother Ralphie the Plug for his first major interview since being released from jail on No Jumper with Adam.
This is when that interview happened. We've seen a few clips of this early on.
22. And during this interview, he touched on a lot of interesting things, telling Adam about his intense withdrawals going cold turkey from codeine-based cough syrup whilst in jail, and detailing his massive weight loss as a result.
Oh yeah, suffering, sweating, looking like a heroin addict in that motherfucker.
Yeah, my boy, it is an opiate. It is an opiate. It's liquid heroin.
Bitch, you gonna tell me? So you got a little skin here. What you were doing in there?
She got you like a crystal head.
Draco also touched on people dissing him while he was in jail, acknowledging that his former friend Scheme had turned on him, and saying that RJ had been telling his crowds to hate on Draco.
Scheme was your homie before. You had songs before with him, right?
Yeah, I know. And then especially like I guess
don't get it. No cloud.
A lot of people want to know about the beef with you and RJ.
Oh no. That before that he was going all over the town and shit, making posters and signs.
Bro's making posters and signs? Are you from like the 80s? Are you a high school 80s student? Like, what?
This shit at the shows. Yeah. Draco. He'd start off his show like, let me hear y'all say Draco.
Draco would actually
Alright, that's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie.
Go on to say that him and RJ settled their beef before he went to jail.
But yeah, that shit over now though. That shit over.
It's over?
Yeah,
like you guys talked about it or something?
Yeah, I seen him. He said that we both from the West and need to represent the West, and we both can't be beefing and all this other shit.
Good. And he would end his interview by saying that he wants to stay away from guns and stay out of jail.
Oh yeah, I'm chilling, man. You know, no guns, no videos, nothing like that.
No guns in the videos. That's a big change right there.
Super Soaker 3000 or something.
It was good to see Draco taking positive steps since his release. And from here, he would continue pushing his career forward and racking up big wins. On December the 19th, he did a big sold-out show at the Observatory. And on December the 28th, 2017, him and Ralphie would release their new song, The Right Decision, where spray paint shown on a wall in the opening shot would reveal graffiti saying "Free Drakey, fuck Too Snitchy," a reference to the Stink Team member Too Shitty.
Too Shitty's a weirdo.
Slipping up and telling a prison house informant the details of the Red Bull murder. But sadly, once again, this, just like many other references to street goings on in Draco's songs and music videos, would end up being used against him by detectives, with the public diss towards a cooperating Stink Team member apparently being interpreted by detectives as witness intimidation, which they tried to use to escalate the charges against Draco.
Somebody had tagged Too Snitchy about a guy who was Stink Team that had given some information to the police. So they tagged the witness intimidation with a gang enhancement. So now these guys are facing life in prison.
So while Draco had spent the months between December 2017 and March 2018 focused on his career and building his fan base, the cops would be building their case, taking notes on everything that Draco said or did over this period, trying to twist it to use it against him. And it would appear that eventually they decided to strike Draco down once again, this time at the very peak of his career, as the mainstream media would finally pay attention to this LA legend in the making in a comprehensive LA Times piece covering Draco's come-up being published in March 2018. an interview ironically starting out discussing Draco's previous release from jail, describing his 2017 stint behind bars as an 11-month iron vacation for multiple counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And in a tragic case of famous last words, with Draco saying in that article that he thought that his time in prison would have been much worse. Perhaps it was arrogant comments like this that had the cops itching to put Draco back into jail, this time under much harsher conditions. Because around 2 weeks after that interview had taken place, quite literally just days after this LA Times story went public, Draco would be arrested for possession of a firearm once again. Draco was brought to the police station where he weirdly said that the cops were playing his music, before then being taken to court where Draco said that he apparently had no idea what was going on, at which point prosecutors dropped the shocking bomb on him that he was being charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with Red Bull's death.
What? You got the confessions out of 2 people. What the fuck are we talking about?
These would be serious charges, and beating them would be no easy feat. But it wasn't just Draco in trouble. Other members of the Stink team were arrested as part of this case, like Ralphie and Ketchy, who were arrested in San Francisco whilst on tour with Shoreline Mafia, with the cops apparently using their Instagram posts to locate them. And Ralphie would later elaborate being caught up in this sudden Stink team sweep in an interview on No Jumper.
Wait, where'd they get you?
From San Francisco.
So you went all the way up there just to get arrested for shit in LA?
We thinking we cool, we Instagram, playing 2K and shit. As soon as we check in, they open the door, I'm laying on the bed, I look up and police coming, I'm like, ah, man, this is bullshit. Homies laying outside,
right.
Towels and shit, no clothes on and shit. I thought I was supposed to be on tour. He drove all the way out there for 9 hours just to drive back 12 hours on the bus.
So with the Stink team firmly behind bars, Draco would have to prepare for the fight of his life. A full-blown murder charge where the worst possible outcome might just be life in prison or even the death penalty.
I'm so confused how they have them in this case when you've had 2 confessions. I don't get it. Draco's trial, maybe? Murder trial, yup.
Draco explained to DJ Vlad that he was charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in March 2018.
First-degree murder, conspiracy, 5 attempted murders.
5 attempted murders.
And 2 gun charges.
It would later emerge that in addition to these charges, Draco was also being accused of shooting from a motor vehicle, illegal possession of a firearm, and criminal gang conspiracy. It's hard enough fighting a murder charge in 5 attempts, but the use of a gang enhancement, a law that's used to impose harsher punishments on those who commit crimes in furtherance of a gang, would see much more serious punishment for the crimes committed if found guilty. In the case of homicide, this meant that Draco was facing, at worst, the death penalty or life in prison. Draco was quite literally fighting.
Alright, why did we pick this picture? Why, Ross? Ross, let's be so deadass.
Fighting for his life as a result of his supposed gang affiliations. But let's not forget, Draco doesn't claim to belong to a particular gang set. So in this case, the cops position the Stink team as its own LA street gang, with Draco being the leader. Pointing to the Stink team, aka the Too Greedy family, as a squad of home invaders made up of members of rolling Crip gangs. Prosecutors said that the Stink team was a gang with around 20 to 30 members, even pointing out that the Asian-inspired logos that they use are a reference to robbing the homes of Asian people, and a common identifier of the Stink team as a street gang. Draco would later tell DJ Vlad that he felt that the cops were simply trying to make him guilty by association for wild things that his gang-affiliated friends were doing completely separate to him.
Exactly. That is 100% what they were doing, 100%.
We're gonna put these people and make it seem like, well, he's hanging around with him, this is his close friend, they're going around starting problems, shooting at people, whatever they alleging lies that they saying happened. And basically that's how they tried to get the gang charge with the indictment. Well, they indicted us on that charge anyway, so I didn't get that until after the indictment.
Despite the cops' fairly misinformed opinions on Draco's gang membership, the case was even more flimsy under the surface. Because one of the most absurd pieces of evidence supposedly proving Draco's gang membership was his rivalry with RJ, with court papers citing RJ's affiliation with the Athens Park Bloods and RJ's ongoing competitive rap rivalry with Draco as evidence of an ongoing all-out gang war between the two groups, with Draco telling Vlad that the cops were trying to use the RJ beef to pin gang affiliations on him.
They didn't have nothing, so I guess they found out about me and RJ getting into it, so they try to pin this together, my rap beef with like whatever a gang murder or whatever they alleging that happened.
The prosecution's entire argument against Draco specifically was built on a foundation of sand. Their entire case against Draco came from AB telling that prison informant that when they went to that party that night they were looking for RJ, which in the opinion of detectives and prosecutors meant that Draco had directed his entire gang to go to that party that night to kill RJ as part of a gang feud, going as far as to claim that Draco's lyrics on his Flex freestyle, where he says that he had RJ in the trunk, was an admission of his desire to kill his rivals, even though that song was released after the murder of Red Bull. And
the way these feds be trying to twist shit, it's kind of sad. It's really kind of sad. There's more real cases you could be doing, but you're just trying to twist shit to go your way. It's weird.
Even though RJ wasn't Athens Park blood, a different gang to the Englewood family Bloods, which the murdered man Red Bull had belonged to. The prosecutor's case against Draco was very flimsy indeed. And to make matters worse for prosecutors, not only was RJ completely unharmed as part of this beef, but there was no evidence to indicate that RJ had ever intended to be at that party where Red Bull ultimately lost his life. Now, RJ would tell Adam22 on No Jumper that he was aware that the cops had told him that Draco was trying to line him up, but he outright denied ever having plans to be at the party where Red Bull was killed.
I wasn't supposed to be at that show. I wasn't supposed to be at that show, and nobody...
The show that they're saying that he was sending someone to kill you at or whatever, yeah.
I think I got a lot of love out here, you know what I'm saying, even from my enemies, you know, so I don't think nobody was trying to kill me.
Bro, when the op is saying that, yeah, y'all feds are fucking idiots.
RJ would also go on social media denying that he ever planned to attend that pajama party where Red Bull died, saying that he had a show elsewhere that night.
I've never been a runner, nor a no-show. Everybody know that ain't never been booked for no damn pajama jam. For one, I had a show somewhere else. Why you didn't cut?
Show me the flyer! RJ would even go on to say that he was actually a fan of Draco, suggesting that their ongoing feud had just been a rap rivalry and by no means a genuine gang war.
I love Draco music.
Wow.
That's what people don't even realize. And people be talking all this beef shit. Bro, it's no beef with me and Draco, bro.
What RJ's talking about right now is you have these parasocial internet weirdos thinking the beef is theirs. It's kind of like maybe, let's say, EBK J-Bo versus Bands. There was one of those in the comment section. He was talking about, oh, this sucks, go J-Bo. I told brother straight up, we're spectators, my boy. I mean, I like J-Bo, but I also like Bands. Their beef is not mine, you know? Their beef is not ours, so...
So, with all of that in mind, much to the bafflement of journalists covering Draco's case, prosecutors were still going ahead with the case against Draco, specifically going with the narrative that they believed Draco had gone to the party that night to kill RJ, arguing that because Draco had led the Stinks on a ride, intending to kill RJ, that he should still be held responsible when another unrelated gang member ends up getting murdered by one of his friends for reasons that have nothing to do with him, with Draco later trying to unpack the ridiculousness of this line of thinking in a DJ Vlad interview.
I grabbed 12 people to go to a party with me where he's not on a flyer, where in my expensive Mercedes-Benz, along with 5 other cars, to drive to a party to go kill a rapper who wasn't on a flyer, waited there, waited for him to show up, a blood walks by, whatever, somebody else starts shooting randomly. And that I'm responsible for it basically because I start beefs with people and pass out guns and I don't know, I'm John Gotti, I guess.
Whilst awaiting trial, Drake...
The feds possibly set up the worst case possible. You know, y'all had no evidence or anything. Y'all try to twist shit. Lawyers aren't stupid, bro. Draco is rich. He gets the best lawyers. Like, what are we talking about?
Draco was interviewed from jail by Jeff Weiss, the same journalist who wrote that LA Times piece on him days before his arrest. And during the interview, Draco claimed that it was 2 specific Monterey Park sheriff detectives named Hardeman and Biddle who were targeting him so specifically, saying that it was these 2 detectives that were bringing an 18-month-old cold case against Draco just because of how famous he was getting, with Draco questioning the suspicious timing of him being arrested just days after that LA Times article about him was released. Though to be fair, Draco did at least admit that these detectives' obsession with him might have something to do with the fact that he'd been taunting them publicly. Draco said that these detectives had even gone as far as to get his mother fired from her job, threatening her with conspiracy charges and ultimately leading to her losing her apartment, with Draco ending that...
That is just weird behavior.
Interview saying definitively he didn't do it. Draco would sit in jail for the majority of 2018, with his September 2018 music video for the song Roll Bounce being one of the only things he released during this period. Draco would be interviewed again by Dazed in November 2018, telling the world that he was facing life in prison or even the death penalty. He denied having a street beef with RJ once again, saying things were just music between them. He claimed to have never known Red Bull, the man who was killed, ultimately saying that he believed that the police were just using his YouTube and Instagram content against him, seemingly getting no option of bail during his stay in prison, and saying he's just sat in jail making streaming money, so I guess things could be worse.
He's not wrong.
Draco was being held at Men's Central Jail in Los Angeles during this period. It's not one of the best places you would want to find yourself, but the sad truth is, things could actually get much worse for Draco. Because during his stay in jail the second time, Draco claimed to have been subjected to dozens of months of solitary confinement. Because in January 2019, he claimed on Twitter to be quitting music and taking all of his tracks down.
I no longer want to be a rapper anymore. Thank Detective Hardiman for trying to use my lyrics against me. I will be pulling all my music down tomorrow. You crushed my dreams. Thank Detective Hardiman. That's crazy.
Blaming Detective Hardiman for the end of his career for trying to use his lyrics against him. But perhaps Draco underestimated just how grimy this detective really was, as a result of being publicly shamed for ruining Draco's career, because that tweet would end up getting used against him too, as the detectives and prosecutors would make moves to have Draco's public statements about them on Twitter as grounds for further punishment, with Draco later telling DJ Vlad that he was subjected to months of solitary confinement not for violent behavior, but because of his followers on social media hating on the detective that had built the case against him.
I had put up a post. I wanted to take my music down and shit.
That officer, that detective, he definitely got bullied in school. No doubt he got bullied.
They were using it against me. They had like 4,000 comments and shit like that. And he went to a judge and got an order basically saying that. And my comments was basically saying, Cam, his mom, calling him, saying that they want to kill him and all type of weird shit because of my influence and my followers and all this other stuff, that he feels that these threats can be carried out and all this like weird shit, so they took my privilege.
That guy definitely got swirlies in school. He definitely got wedgies and shit. What a bitch.
Draco's lawyer would come out later to say that his public statements on Twitter, specifically this tweet, is what wound him up in the solitary confinement cell, more specifically, the exact cell that Suge Knight ended up in.
You know, Draco was in, general population. I think he was okay. And then he tweeted this, and the detective went to a different judge, not even our judge, and got him placed in solitary confinement in Suge Knight's old cell. And so he's locked down 24 hours a day, except for a couple of breaks where he gets to go out. Like he's, the leader of the Mexican mafia, some large, powerful prison gang, for tweeting, I'm taking my music down and thank Hardiman. And he's remained in there for 8, almost 9 months now.
Draco would later tell Andrew Callahan in a podcast that it was around the 10-month mark that his mental health started slipping and he began having hallucinations in his cell alone.
Yeah, it seems like all that time in solitary would probably make you go crazy.
Yeah.
Do you start hallucinating or having
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
Seeing shit that is not there. I don't know, many shadows, shit like that. Everything was cool to like my 10th month. 10th month, and then I don't know, shit started going left. But yeah, the room started getting smaller. Like shit started, it's crazy.
So you felt the walls start to close in?
Yeah, pretty much. I never knew what that's saying, man. I know now, though.
The cops and prosecutors put Draco through hell whilst awaiting trial. They used every dirty trick they could to keep him down, but eventually, he would have his day in court. Ultimately, Draco would emerge from his case victorious. Wow. But once again, even with the law seemingly on his side, the powers that be still wanted to play dirty and take Draco down. Draco had been in jail for well over a year by the time he was finally able to go for trial. It was clear what the prosecutor's strategy was. Try and draw flimsy conclusions from Draco's public persona as a gangster in his music to paint him as the real leader of a bloodthirsty street gang. But when the facts of the trial came to light, it was clear what had really happened. Draco was rolling with friends of various gang affiliations, and just so happened to be there when two of his gang-affiliated friends saw one of their enemies and started shooting. But the cops would throw everything they had at Draco to try and paint him and the stink team as guilty of gang activity. Apparently when it came to trial, prosecutors even called a store clerk from Neiman Marcus to testify against the stink team for regularly spending stolen money in their store and rapping about it. A troll-level reference to Draco's earlier lyrics about his ops being so broke that the Neiman Marcus employees don't know who they are. The prosecutors even went further, spectacularly bringing out several Asian men and women accompanied by foreign language interpreters, asking them one by one if they have ever been to Neiman Marcus in Beverly Hills, with each telling the courts no, they did not authorize the stink team to spend thousands of their stolen dollars on high-end clothing. The cops were really doing everything they could to try and make this case stick to the stink team. And despite the fact that both of the killers in this case, Kells and AB, as well as stink team member 2 Shitty, had all made incriminating statements to undercover informants in jail, a great deal of additional testimony at the trial would come from former stink team member turned snitch, Solo, real name Davian Irving, who would become state witness and testify against the stink team after being the only person positively identified by the police as being at the crime scene.
See, bro, that is why you don't have your team be as big as that, bro, because there's no way everyone is solid. There's no way. That is a big team. Not everyone's gonna be solid.
Solo was offered full immunity in exchange for any info about the case, with him going full 6ix9ine, taking the stand and telling the entire story of what happened that night when the stink team ran into Red Bull. Solo broke down the details of that night minute by minute, telling the court that they were at Draco's house before the party, but also saying specifically that Draco had no idea that the shooting was going to occur. Solo was the perfect witness to convict the real killers, Kells and AB, but the cops wanted Draco and the truth didn't fit in with their narrative. So they would continue to bring up the beef between Draco and RJ and make immense effort to connect the murder of Red Bull to Draco's music. And to be fair, they would have a few good leads, because once investigators had determined the guns from the shooting, from both the bullets left at the scene and AB's confession that a 38 and a 40 were used, the cops would eventually find the 40 Glock that they believed had been used in the murder, and in an effort to connect the stink team's alleged crimes to their music, detectives would take a closer look at Draco's recent music videos. That's when they found the video to that track Chunky Monkey from a month before the murder, where Draco, Kells and Ralphie danced around in gorilla masks and toted guns. The Chunky Monkey music video featured a lot of extreme close-ups of guns. In fact, this music video was so well shot that several of the guns appear on screen with their serial numbers on display in glorious 4K. It was later alleged that a gun featured in the video with its serial number on display was the exact same pistol that had fired the .40 caliber.
That is self-incrimination at its finest.
Cartridge that was found at the scene. Though to be fair, it was claimed that other people had possessed that gun between the Chunky Monkey music video shoot and the actual murder of Red Bull. Also featured heavily in the Chunky Monkey music video was Draco's signature Mercedes SUV that was also seen at the scene of the Red Bull murder. At the time, people were commenting all over that video that everybody included in it is now facing 25 to life. But of course, all of that incrimination was really bad news for Kells and AB, the young shooters who had actually done the crime, with the prosecution's case against Kells looking particularly strong. Not only had he been duly snitched on by himself and his friends to those undercover informants, but the cops also had evidence that following the murder, Kells had posted clips on social media saying that he was sipping on Dead Bull, as well as another clip that was posted on his own Facebook that had a bunch of people in the comments talking very reckless about what had happened to Red Bull. It was clear that Kells and AB were very deeply tied into LA's Crip gang politics. Combine that with the fact that Red Bull was a seemingly beloved Englewood blood with a deep reputation in the streets, it's not unsurprising then that during the trial against Kells, it was reported that the court was lined with both Bloods and Crips in attendance to show support and pressure respectively, with the heavy Blood and Crip presence on both sides apparently leading to a courthouse brawl where somebody was stabbed during the trial.
What the fuck?
Things were getting real in the Compton courthouse, but ultimately that wouldn't matter. Draco's co-defendant Kells, real name Michael Buchanan, was ultimately convicted of murder and multiple accounts of attempted murder with the gang enhancement, avoiding the death penalty but receiving a full life sentence, with the other shooter AB being under 18 at the time of his trial, and at this point it's unclear whether or not he faced trial privately as a juvenile, with the results not being made public, or perhaps due to delays in the legal system, maybe he's not even gone to trial at all yet. But with all of the evidence against him, you can safely assume he probably got a similar outcome down to Kells. Meanwhile, Ralphie the Plug was convicted of second-degree burglary and possession of an assault rifle with a gang enhancement. But of course, the most eagerly anticipated outcome of the whole trial was for Draco himself. His trial would last a whopping 8.5 weeks, during which apparently 2 black jurors were removed from the case after expressing concern that the gang evidence used against Draco was not accurate. But no matter how many dirty tricks the prosecutors tried to pull against Draco, in the end he was victorious. So on July the 25th, 2019, at a Compton courthouse, Draco the Ruler would finally be acquitted of murder and attempted murder.
I know Detective Hardiman definitely was punching the air after this. Fucking dweeb bitch.
He would tweet in celebration, "For everyone that thought I was gonna lose, I won, bitch." But sadly, things were far from over for Draco, because despite beating the most serious charges of the case, he was still convicted of felony gun possession by a felon. Meanwhile, 2 other counts of criminal gang conspiracy and shooting from a motor vehicle returned a hung jury. So, even after beating the trial of his life, getting acquitted of murder, and narrowly avoiding the death penalty, Draco's life would still be in the hands of prosecutors, who now, embarrassed after being duly battered at trial by Draco the Ruler, would now be desperate for a dirty trick that they could use to try and keep Draco in jail for as long as possible, with no justification.
God damn. The holding of Draco.
In the end, the district attorney decided to refile charges of criminal gang conspiracy and shooting from a motor vehicle against Draco, as these counts had originally returned a hung jury. Shooting from a motor vehicle is a crime that could see Draco facing 3 to 7 years in jail, but with the gang enhancement, that criminal gang conspiracy charge, Draco was once again facing life in prison, even though he'd been fully acquitted on those original murder and attempted murder charges. This was a dirty move by prosecutors, who were essentially holding Draco in custody for a crime he had already been acquitted of. If the jury had already found him innocent of murder and attempted murder, it was quite the stretch to suggest that he had still shot from a car and been involved in the conspiracy, but clearly the prosecutors had a grudge against Draco after losing in court over the main charges. And of course, if keeping Draco in prison after he was acquitted wasn't enough, prosecutors also made sure that during this time, Draco was still held in solitary confinement. But somehow this didn't stop Draco from still managing to get access to a phone and tweeting about his case, with Draco taken to the net in September 2019, telling the world that he was essentially being charged for the same crime that he got acquitted for a few months previous, saying enough is enough, and acknowledging he knows detectives are just trying to get justice for the victim's family, but surely his acquittal and Kells's conviction would mean something to prosecutors. It didn't. And the cops would do everything they could to keep Draco in jail after his acquittal, with Draco's lawyer later telling No Jumper everything they could to keep Draco in jail after his acquittal, with Draco's lawyer later telling No Jumper in an interview that he believed that the cops and prosecutors were seeing Draco as a trophy.
It's a trophy. He's a trophy.
Yep.
You know, a big fish for them to try to take down.
Because you know they're humiliated because they didn't get him the first time around. So they're like, oh, let's double down. Let's really...
How dumb are these feds, bro? Like, we embarrassingly failed the first time. It's not enough. I want to get embarrassed more. They have like a kink. It's fucking weird.
Go for this again.
Draco's new trial was set for August in 2020, meaning that he would have been in jail for over a year following his acquittal for murder. It's truly crazy when you think about it. But fortunately in the end, after so much bad luck and an additional year sat in jail unjustly, Draco would finally catch a break, as the LA County District Attorney who had had a vendetta against Draco, Jackie Lacey, would end up losing her job, partly the result of a terrible track record, refusing to prosecute a number of police shootings as well as Harvey Weinstein.
Bro, California, not trying to get political, but...
along with her own husband even catching headlines for threatening to shoot and kill BLM protesters. So in November 2020, a new district attorney would be on the scene, potentially looking to save face over just how badly Draco's case had been handled. And after this change of administration, Draco the Ruler ended up being offered a plea deal from the new DA who dropped the original gang conspiracy charge that had saw Draco facing life, allowing him to accept a guilty plea for shooting from a motor vehicle, a crime that he continued to deny, saying that he was essentially forced to plead guilty for a crime he did not do just to get out of prison.
So you took a plea deal for a crime you didn't commit?
Basically, like everyone else that takes crime, plea deals for crimes they didn't commit, take gang enhancements, take stuff.
So after a cumulative 3 years battling for his life in jail and quite literally beating the death penalty, Draco would finally be a free man again. But hell, on these dangerous LA streets, even being free wouldn't be easy. Because upon his release, Draco the Ruler would be returning to a snake pit.
Alright, bro, why is he using these pics? Why? Why?
The LA rap scene that he had left behind all those years had flourished, with Draco's former enemies building strength and new alliances while he was behind bars. Meaning that when Draco was released, he would have to fight for dominance in the rap game once again. And considering just how dangerous LA's street rap scene is, he'd be risking his life every step of the way.
Draco's ops rise to power.
Whilst Draco was locked in prison, other LA rappers are competing for the space he used to occupy. For example, AZ Chike, the rapper hailing from South Central.
Wow! I found out about AZ Chike on GNX, which is 4 years after this, maybe 3, you know?
Had picked up some steam with his track Burn Rubber Again releasing September the 7th, 2017. He'd collaborate with an Englewood rapper who Draco wasn't very fond of by the name of Frosty the Snowman on the track One Up. Draco had been having issues with Frosty even before his time in jail. They'd previously been in the studio together on good terms, but eventually started beefing, with Draco revealing in a 2017 No Jumper interview that he'd made a post mocking people for driving old Mercedes, with Frosty apparently taking offense.
He was in the studio talking about, well, how should I say this? Should I say it like this? Should I do it like this?
Like when I put the post up, I put niggas be posting 06 Benzes, New York idolizing 06 Benzes. They all tag Frosty. I didn't tag the
Frosty had had early successes with tracks like Ya Dig and Milwaukee Bucks, and would later have a resurgence with his music blowing up on TikTok, landing Frosty millions of views on his original songs, millions more on TikTok remixes, and hundreds of thousands of videos being made to his music. Also big from Englewood is a rapper by the name of Rucci, who also linked up with AZ Chike on the collab track Light It Up, with Rucci and AZ Chike going on to be regular collaborators. In fact, they would go on to collaborate with another Englewood regular by the name of Lil Deuce, with their track Every N-Word. Then there's also the likes of Mozzie, who had previously worked with Draco on tracks like Fresh Out of Jail, but while Draco had gone back into
I listened to Fresh Out of Jail. I reacted to that.
jail, Mozzie was making songs with Englewood natives like Rucci, for example the track Believe in Me, and Mozzie would eventually go on to make an entire album with YG called Community Service.
Bro, I've not heard that album. I haven't heard that.
And though YG isn't from Englewood, he probably is the most prominent person in the LA music scene to have a grudge against Draco. Basically, if you're an LA rapper with any kind of ties or friends in Englewood, you and Draco probably aren't going to get along. And with Draco now finally getting out of jail, it wouldn't take long for old beefs to evolve, reignite, and get cracking once again. With the sad truth being, after narrowly escaping the death penalty and life in prison, with his newfound freedom, Draco's life would be in danger more than ever.
Return of Draco, let's go!
Even while he was locked up, Draco didn't give up on his rap.
Why is your tongue out, my boy? Oh my god, bro. Why is he so zesty, bro? Why was he so zesty, bro? I love you, Draco, but goddamn, brother, put your tongue back in your mouth, please.
Game aspirations. He continued dropping music recorded from the phone in jail, and his Thank You for Using GTL mixtape released in June 2020, nearly a year after Draco's acquittal on those murder charges. This was a mixtape which Pitchfork labeled as the best of Draco's career, and the best prison rap album ever recorded. But those crackly verses recorded over a jailhouse phone could only satisfy fans for so long, and eventually the wait would finally be over as Draco the Ruler is released from prison on November the 5th, 2020, with Draco being seen celebrating with his family in the car driving home from jail.
Bro got the turtleneck, he got Auntie, the nephew.
Wait, where my nephew? He out, yes!
I'm not. Swore I wasn't finna get out. What happened? Yeah.
A couple of days after his release on November the 7th, 2020, Draco goes on a big IG Live rant getting 3 years of raw emotions off of his chest. He said that when he was facing the death penalty, no one in the LA scene stuck up for him because he was taking their shine. But now he's back, there is no way he's falling off again.
Seen the police was doing me foul, bro. I was fighting a DP, bro. Didn't nobody open up their mouth to say nothing because of they hate for me, bro. That I was gonna take they shine, bro. And I still got out anyway, bitch. You sit here and watch my fucking lives, go pillow talk on the nigga, and y'all can't stop nothing. You know why? Because nigga still gonna listen to my shit, you weird ass. All I'm gonna do is keep spending this money, nigga. And if y'all be speculating, watching my shit every day, my stacks don't get no smaller. They been getting larger, family. That gonna fall off, not me, buddy. I don't do that. I don't fall off, buddy. When I first got out, I came out with a bundle. I remember every call.
Look at all that dog shit
that wasn't accepted, nigga. Keep that same energy, bitch ass. I'm the reason that I was able to feed they motherfucking kids while I was in jail, nigga, for stealing my motherfucking style and getting on off that shit, bitch. These niggas try to beat me so much, bro. They start having the attitude like they really me. I've been holding this shit in for 3 years, bro. These is weirdos, bro. How many out of all these that niggas seen out here, bro, that was rapping like and doing all this shit, bro? Did y'all see post me when I got out? All I'm gonna tell you, bitch ass rap, stay out my way, nigga. Cause soon as you think like, oh damn, that tape gonna fly out, I'm gonna drop another one. Then I'm gonna drop another one.
Then I'm gonna drop another one, another one, another one. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Oh my.
I'm the realest rapper from LA motherfucking county, nigga. Name one rapper that was out here, nigga, that beat some shit I beat. Please tell me. Favorite rapper nigga ain't never even been to jail for the shit I've been to jail for. Can't no LA rapper that's out here mainstream say he beat a murder, attempted murder, 5 attempted murder, and a DP.
Draco was getting heated on this rant and even ended up comparing his case to Louisiana rap legend Lil Boosie's case, suggesting that Draco beat bigger charges.
And Lil Boosie had 1 murder. I had a murder, 5 attempted murder, and a conspiracy. I got Lil Boosie.
He was talking his shit.
CB. Wrong with nigga.
At a certain point, Draco begun to ponder whether or not his ops were snitches because they had guns in their videos but never seemed to go to jail.
But you want to be politicking on me? You niggas probably would have told. Let's read about these have guns in their videos, be big rags and all that, bro. All that is super gang members, got toolies all the time and all that. Why don't these niggas ever come to jail? It's talent, that's why. These was talent. That's what it is. Niggas want it out the way, niggas. Them niggas dropping dimes, talking to the police.
But more important than dunking on the ops was feeding the fans, who were much more interested in Draco returning to the booth than settling scores with old enemies. And Draco would eventually return to the music scene with a bang on the 9th of November 2020, releasing his first...
Bro, I need to listen to this, dude. Did I listen to this? Let me check, bro. Bro, I did react to that. That was my first ever Draco song. That was my first ever Draco reaction.
First music video for the song Fights Don't Matter. A song all about shooting your ops 33 times, because fights don't matter when you can kill your enemy with a gun. The video landed over 150,000 views on its first day, at which point Draco knew that his rap career was back in full swing. And naturally, it didn't take long for his competitive streak to come out. Draco would go live again on November the 13th, dissing Frosty, saying he's not on Draco's level.
Frosty is not on my level. He doesn't have no money. He's not on my level.
Then on November the 16th, 2020, Draco, fresh out of jail, appears for his first extended interview on the No Jumper podcast. It was good to see Draco free and speaking openly again, but it was abundantly clear just how much pain and suffering he'd been through during his incarceration. He told Adam that he was in solitary for around 18 months and was traumatized by the sound of the door locking behind him.
But yeah, I was there for a long time. I was in the worst place you could be in there.
Right.
2904, solitary confinement. Shit is crazy.
What's it like being in there for months? Like, what does it do to your brain?
I mean, it just fuck you up mentally, psychologically. Everything, like, I don't know, it's hard. It'd be hard to, like, trust him. I'd be like, I don't know, I still kind of be like that. Like, I can't even hear a door close without me turning my head. Like.
Draco would also have some choice words for his ops during this interview, saying everybody is mad that he's not still in jail and that they're scared of him.
But you named names at a certain point, and you were really making it clear that you didn't.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm out now, so
right.
They didn't stop nothing. I know they didn't want me to get out. It's whatever though.
You feel like it's like that not only are you not getting support from other rappers in LA, but that they would rather see you.
They would rather see me there.
Right.
Because they know. Look what's going on now. The spotlight's on me. You ain't seen nobody post nothing. Ain't nobody drop no songs. Come on, bro. They know. This is what they didn't want. These motherfuckers scared of me, bro. Weird ass.
When asked about how he feels about people wanting to hurt him, he says he's not scared and that it's been 4 years now. They should get over it.
What is your attitude on people who want to do something to you at this point out here in the streets?
It's like it's been 4 years, bro. Get over it. Like, that's how I feel.
But thankfully, Draco did end the interview with something sensible, saying he no longer wants to go around hanging out in the hood because nothing good could come of it.
There ain't no reason for me to keep coming anyway. It's not nothing over there, but Like, there's nothing over there but trouble.
It was good news that Draco was out of jail, seemingly focused on staying out of trouble and moving forward positively. And of course, the most important thing when it comes to staying out of the streets is staying in the studio. And so, after spending a couple of years only able to release songs recorded over a prison phone, on the 1st of September 2020, Draco
wow, this is when he dropped that tape.
Finally drops his latest mixtape, We Know the Truth, his first studio release since getting out of jail after beating those murder charges. The project had the track 20 Pieces, where Draco gleefully celebrates beating his charges, whilst bragging of having a grand total of 20 chains around his neck, with Draco rapping the defiant lyric, "All 12 jurors not guilty, beat it," beginning Draco's ongoing trend of using lyrics in his songs to brag about having convinced all 12 jurors of his innocence at his trial. There wasn't a great deal of remorse or sensitivity on the project. Elsewhere on there, Draco raps about Randy mossing a body and feeling like John Gotti after beating the charges. Ultimately, this project was Draco's triumphant return to the game and his victory lap after beating the supposed body. And with these celebratory lyrics in mind, it's no surprise that Draco's enemies weren't really feeling this project. In response to Draco's new release, a post would begin to circulate on social media saying that Draco's music is banned from being played in the city of Englewood. The post says that if you're caught playing Draco's music from your car in Englewood, you're going to get pulled out of it like Grand Theft Auto. This post prompted defiant Draco fans to drive into the heart of Englewood playing his music, something which Draco himself was eager to repost. But the issues didn't stop there. Draco's ops were ready to get at him on records too, and soon AZ Chike will drop his new diss track, Clear the Air, aka Welcome Home, aimed at Draco. The song was a lyrical warning shot to Draco where he disses the Stink Team, saying he doesn't rap anything like Draco, and acknowledging Draco dissing him in his IG lives. It was clear that Draco's return to the rap game wasn't going to please everyone, but he would continue pushing his career forward regardless. Spending much of December 2020 doing interviews to promote his new project, on the 5th Draco would appear on Vlad TV, retelling the insane story of his come-up and his time in jail. Then after that, on December the 9th, he did the Break Check podcast with Andrew Callahan, telling Andrew that he doesn't feel he gets a lot of love since he got out of jail.
I didn't think it was gonna be like this. Like, I thought it would have been like more love from people. Apparently they feel like I'm gonna take their spot. So a lot of people been like hating on me and shit.
There's plenty of money to be made, bro. Everyone can make money, bro.
That sucks, man.
He also told Andrew that his time in jail made him never want to go back.
Do you feel like it still affects you to this day, all that time you spent in there?
Yeah, for sure. Because I always think every day. I mean, it kind of helps me though, because every day I think like I never want to go back to jail. Like I never want to go through this again. So anytime I like drift off and think about like doing something that potentially make me go to jail, I always think like that's not where I want to go. Like, that's not where I want to be. I can't even. I've been up for 2 weeks straight. I haven't been able to sleep because every day I've been thinking like, man, damn, I'm really out. Damn, I can't go back to jail. I can't do this.
He also said ominously that he believes that people are after him at all times.
I can't even play like that anyway because people want to get me. You know, people are out to get me. Police, regular people, so I can't even be slipping like that to where somebody catching me. Like, you got a lot of people like.
Draco would certainly have to look over his shoulder as he continued to navigate the dangerous world of LA's street rap politics. But lucky for Draco, while the ops in his city were hating on him, some of the biggest names in the rap game were loving his music. As on the 19th of December, Draco would tease a new song featuring the biggest rapper who has ever lived, Drake, along with a caption telling his ops that he's on a whole different level to them. Draco revealed that his collaboration with Drake was set to appear on his next full-length project, The Truth Hurts, before going on a furious rant at everybody who switched on him while he was in jail.
I'm the same nigga though. Remember that. I never switched up. Switched up on me. Even though hating all this clown ass shit. Remember though. Nobody went to when I was in jail. Nobody went to do none of this. Nobody gonna be trying to hit me up now, and that's cool and all that. But I'm not with you. Remember that, bro. I've been. I'm not. I've been getting money. I've been doing shit, bro. I am, bro. Remember that. Not so when you get to sitting at home thinking that, oh, maybe y'all could me and maybe y'all on the same level with me, y'all not, period.
Clearly Draco
Bro, he was a shit talker for real.
Was lining up some big moves and planning to dunk on everyone who didn't believe in him or who wasn't there for him. And while Draco was moving on from the people who let him down in the past, he was also expanding his team and putting new people on. He'd pop up with a verse on the Ruth's Chris freestyle, with new Stink Team member Remble on December the 23rd, 2020, with Draco's verse on this song being extremely provocative towards his rivals. Draco would rap on the song telling his ops to quite literally come and find him if they want him. He invites his ops to hop off Twitter and come and shoot him in real life, followed by him
Dude's woofing. I love to drop a new op. Catch him walking to his car, did him like Tupac. I hang out with real killers, that's what you not.
Bragging that he hangs around with real killers. He says that the Stink Team members go for celebratory meals at Ruth's Chris every time they kill a new op. And Draco would end the song with his latest offensive catchphrase towards his ops, he's never coming back and that's that. Draco was really wearing his body-beating badge with pride, even though the official version of the story suggested Draco had nothing to do with the killing that landed him in jail. No doubt many of these lyrics would have offended Draco's ops and had them looking to cause him harm. And it seemed that over the course of 2021, Draco would get much more dark, spending the majority of his time focusing on old feuds and provoking enemies, parading his gang affiliations and criminal background in his lyrics and on social media. Most notably was in January 2021, when Draco went live on Instagram with Kells, who was still in prison after being sentenced to life for the murder of Red Bull. All while fans piled into the comments saying free Kells.
They know what the f going on.
They know what's going on. They can't take it though. Like, you can't take it. It's hurting their head.
Yeah, alright. Try it if you want to. I ain't got nothing to lose. No gang.
There's nothing they can say. There's nothing they can say, bro.
Yeah, alright.
Bro, I know hindsight is 2020, but he should have been moved out of LA, bro. After he got out, he should have moved out of LA, bro. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah, they should have been in that courtroom then. Yeah, when we was right there facing the electric chair.
So high.
We was facing the electric chair on the dead homies.
Your whole family doing backflips.
Well, tell your mama do a backflip.
The same month he went live with Red Bull's Killer, Draco would also drop the music video for Mr. Mosley Claps Back, a song once again featuring that controversial lyric, he's never coming back and that's that, as well as a menacing outro where Draco repeats that line and tells whoever's listening, face it bruh, like you can sit there moping around sitting on the couch. I know you're going through some shit though, but just face it bruh, like he's never coming back and that's that, you hear me? Draco was really doing the most to get a rise out of his ops. But that doesn't mean his enemies weren't pushing their musical careers forward either. Because around this time, other rappers with ties to Englewood are making big moves too. Like Lil Deuce, who dropped his track Outside, a Tiny Young freestyle, in February 2021, which went on to rack up over 1 million views. That track coming along with a music video showcasing an army of people who Draco has issues with. Just over a week after that song dropped, on February the 11th, Draco would go live talking on his ops being fake and staying solid in prison.
Come out here and I don't get along and then be trying to pull that cord like you can do whatever you want to. No, like I forgot. Yeah, like they didn't find 10 choppers in my house. Like I'm not fighting the DP. You niggas is rapping. And you might be a little bit street, but y'all not like that. We really like that. Ops is ops. My ops is other ops. And all that. Why ain't nobody touch me in prison? Why ain't nobody touch me? Yeah, because niggas know better.
Also because you're in solitary confinement most of the time, but...
They're looking for me. No, you can't be looking for me because I hang out every day. Every day. Every day. You be like, damn, bro, why you be hanging out that all day, bro? You need to go in the house. Because nobody's ain't gonna do nothing.
Then, on February 24th, 2021, Draco would drop his new project, the much-anticipated The Truth Hurts mixtape, featuring a cover where Draco stood in front of his beloved Rolls-Royce Dawn convertible, holding one of the umbrellas that the car famously comes with. The project also featured the track Talk to Me, featuring Drake, which...
Wow! So we had Drake, we had Snapdog, Don Toliver, Pressa, I Swear Vezo... Holy shit.
Despite not getting a music video, went on to become Draco's most played song on Spotify, racking up a whopping 41 million spins to date. The project also included the song Pow Right in the Kisser, which did
Pow Right in the Kisser. That's a great song. I have reacted to that. That will get uploaded soon.
Get a music video and saw Draco and the whole Stink team goading their ops with incredibly disrespectful lyrics. Draco says pow right in the kisser every few seconds of the track, whilst him and other Stink team members rap offensive disses to their ops, trying to cause as much offense as possible before Draco jumps in with the ad-lib pow right in the kisser. On the song, Draco also brought back his disrespectful catchphrase, he's never coming back and that's that, as well as a long outro where Draco once again tells his ops to get over it, saying all this stuff happened 3 years ago and they need to let go of this grudge. Draco was really going hard to pile disrespect onto his ops during this period. But at this point in his career, I mean, he's collaborating with Drake, the most successful mainstream rap artist to ever live. He really didn't need to be mocking his ops at every opportunity and putting a target on his back. Perhaps Draco was too street to transition into the music industry fully. Or perhaps all those years in solitary confinement just changed him. Because he seemed to come out of jail with a lifelong grudge against his ops that he simply couldn't move on from. But whatever it was, Draco just seemed incapable of letting the past be the past and leaving his beefs in the streets. And over the course of
I think Ross said it very well, bro. I think he should have moved away from LA, which is moving on, but
2021, Draco would spiral deeper and deeper into his feuds with gang-affiliated LA rappers, with this feud being made much worse by the tragic and unrelated passing of one of Draco's closest friends, which naturally the ops would be mocking at every opportunity.
Catchy maybe?
On February the 16th, 2021, Stink Team rapper Ketchy the Great dies after being hit by a car in a freak accident on Pacific Coast Highway.
Pacific Coast Highway in Pacific Palisades has reopened this morning after a deadly crash there. A person was fatally struck by a vehicle in the area of PCH and Porto Marina Way shortly before 11 o'clock last night. Sky 2 was over the investigation outside of the closed restaurant Sidewalk Cafe. One car involved in the crash drove off the road and onto the beach. The identity of the victim has not been released.
Draco mourned the loss of his close friend and
Bro, that's sad. That's super fucking sad, dude.
Collaborator on Twitter, as did many other titans of the rap media game. But soon Draco would take to IG Live to make sure the world knew that Ketchy's death was an accident unrelated to the ongoing beef.
You got hit by a car, bro. But you know how these don't get No, that didn't happen, bro. That didn't happen, bro. It's on the news, bro. On the shit, bro. You got hit by a car by some pedestrians. Nah, you know they finna start though. Finna be popping it like doing something that didn't happen. You know how these be. You wanna claim bodies that they ain't do.
And it seemed as if Draco was right, because soon after this, the likes of Lil Deuce was on Twitter celebrating Ketchy's death, even going as far as to drop his exact location for anybody looking for him after those tweets. Draco would clap back on Twitter, calling anybody disrespecting Ketchy a homophobic slur, as well as going on IG saying that anybody that's cool with Englewood is a target for his team, even if they're not from LA.
Any dude hang with him, if you from out of town, you hang with him, if you getting chipped to him, straight up. All that playing shit. I just talked about this shit the other day, bro. Just talking about I don't be tripping on coming out here and with niggas I don't give a where you from. I don't give a if you're from Alaska. None of that shit. You getting chipped. I don't care where you from.
You hanging with
any of that shit. You could be from the Bay, Sacramento. You come out here, you getting chipped.
Despite the devastating death of Ketchy, Draco would go on to have a successful rollout that month of his Truth Hurts mixtape and his Drake collaboration. But things would heat up once again on March the 8th, 2021, when No Jumper released a new interview with YG, where he introduces members of his 400 record label. And during the interview, YG appeared to have a few choice words for Draco without naming him specifically, explaining that his crew don't do rap beefs, and saying that if they're in a street beef, it's for real, and his goons are really gonna get you.
I'm not finna be going out there doing no rap diss and shit, cause like, if it's smoke, it's really smoke with us. We ain't playing. All that rap beef and all that shit, we not rap beefing, we really beefing. Wow. The homies gonna get you.
This appeared to be a bold threat, and naturally, it didn't take Draco long to clap back. 3 days later, on March the 11th, 2021, Draco reacts to Adam22 doing the YG interview by previewing a song on IG Live, with lyrics that say a rapper will get Swiss cheesed, i.e. shot, if he does one more thing, I assume referring to YG. Draco also goes on to post numerous IG stories referring to YG directly, reposting a story that YG put up, congratulating Bobby Shmurda for getting out of jail, with a caption saying people will congratulate somebody getting out of jail from out of town, but hate when somebody gets out of jail in their own city. Draco would then suggest that he wasn't the only person who'd realised this, then posting that he's happy that Bobby got out of jail, before absurdly suggesting that the Stink Team had started a trend of people getting out of jail. Draco would then turn his attention back to YG, saying that he's not going to let someone acting tough stop him from progressing his career, suggesting that YG didn't help the up-and-comers in LA with their careers, so now Draco's got to do it.
I mean, YG, he's always put on for artists, in my opinion. Maybe he didn't put on for Draco, but even nowadays, he's putting on for Pay Gotti, you know? He was putting on for RJ, you know? he put on for his people on that No Jumper interview, but I see what he's saying. Also, that Bobby Shmurda shit, super cool, dude. I remember we were waiting for years initially when that first happened, you know, because Hot Dude came out in 2015. I think he actually got locked up 2016, and then 5 years later he got released.
Draco then tells YG publicly to unfollow him on Instagram, sort of a humble brag to let the world know that YG is still following him. A week after that, Draco goes live on Instagram, dissing YG again, as well as Snoop Dogg and Boosie for not being independent and not beating charges as bad as the ones he beat.
How are you dissing someone for beating a charge, but it was less than yours? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense, dude. What?
I said what I said. Just keep tagging all that. First of all, just keep saying all this. Oh, what about Kenny? What about YG? Not independent. What about Snoop Dogg? He beat a murder, not the death penalty. What about this? What about Lil Boosie? He beat one murder. I beat one murder. Attention, nigga. Conspiracy. Yeah. Ain't getting no money from their music. Stop comparing me to that's broken, scary, and want to break it down when I see him. Niggas know what time it is. Shit open up in April, so all that tough ass shit, see me, niggas know what it is. Like they don't see the Don riding around LA. What's wrong with you?
Clearly Draco was eager to disrespect his ops, but after the loss of his close friend Ketchy the Great, his enemies wanted to do the same thing right back to him. The following month, on April the 9th, 2021, Englewood-affiliated rapper Ice Water Rock drops a Draco and Ketchy diss song called Ketchy Pack, a song primarily focused on mocking Ketchy the Great's death and showing utmost disrespect by driving over tomato ketchup packets in his lowrider and spilling ketchup on the ground. But while the ops were going low, Draco was going high, because a week after that incredibly disrespectful Ketchy diss song dropped, Draco went mainstream, with his feature on Saweetie's song Risky releasing, giving Draco the chance to showcase his talent to a much more mainstream pop audience. Sadly, Draco's style wasn't necessarily what the mainstream was looking for, with many commenters not entirely happy with Draco's performance on the track. But that didn't matter, because
that's crazy.
Draco was an independent artist, and the last thing he cared about was impressing a mainstream audience. And so 3 days after that, he would go on to drop a much more independent release, a collab album with his brother Ralphie the Plug titled A Cold Day in Hell. This included more disrespectful songs aimed at his ops like Just Retire, where he says, "I'm the reason that all your homies are dying. The only way I see us having it is my way. He's never coming back and that's that, just retire." Then on May the 6th, the Long Live the Greatest music video drops, where we see Draco paying his respects to Ketchy, with the music video showing Ketchy's funeral in great detail, along with documentary footage of the Stink team attending the ceremony. From here, Draco would continue to be active in the rap scene, making big moves. Being seen on May the 13th, 2021, hanging out with Drake after the successful release of their collab.
Yeah. My big dog, man.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
Two Drakes, man.
Yeah,
So,
that boy.
they can't stop it, man.
Yeah.
They can't stop two Drakes, man. Big Drakes on
Yeah.
Then on May the 22nd, Draco would be seen on social media playing a Frosty song and celebrating him being out of jail, I assume, doing what YG was supposed to do.
Yeah, man, welcome home, man. I need some help.
Ultimately, Draco's fake positivity towards his ops would have its limits, and soon some of Draco's enemies would end up doing something so offensive they would offend the whole of Los Angeles. At the end of May 2021, another Englewood blood, who was known to socialize with Frosty by the name of Baby Capone, would deface the mural of Nipsey Hussle outside of his Marathon clothing store where he lost his life, tagging IFGB and his own name over Nipsey's face, much to the disappointment of locals with the utmost love and respect for Nipsey.
That's fun.
Capone, huh? God. Capone. Yeah. Wall banging Capone, okay. Yeah.
After the incident, Capone would go live with another blood from his hood by the name of Indian Red Boy, laughing about the incident, dissing other hoods, and claiming to be 6OK or rolling 60s killers.
You know what's going on, dead on me. You know what's going on, bitch. Dead on me.
You know what's going on, bitch. Stop playing with us, bitch.
Not long after this went down, Draco himself would come out to diss Baby Capone and the whole of Englewood, telling the world that these are the people that he's beefing with.
These are the that don't like me, bro. These are the people that don't like me. These are the type of people that they are. Oh, you just over-exaggerating. All right, now you see. The same I've been telling these was hoes. I've been telling bro. Now you wanna wait for it now? You wanna wait till cross Nipsey face out and do all this on the wall? These hoes, I've been saying this from the jump. Yeah. Yeah, bet all y'all dumbass look stupid as a mother. Now, y'all wanted to group up and click up with it and all that to go against me.
Then on June the 1st, Draco goes live telling his followers that his ops don't last long and that they should check the scoreboard.
They don't make it too long, though.
He said, check the score, check the stats, check the box score.
End up dying, or like catching something, or like... Woo! Scoreboard! Scoreboard! I'm done. The scoreboard is crazy.
Draco clearly had the ops in Englewood on his mind during this period. On June the 11th, he goes live on IG once again, this time with a pinned comment saying who wants to fight Draco from Englewood. And during that live, Draco says he never lost a fight in jail, going on to say the Stinks beat up Englewood in prison, even Red Bull specifically.
Englewood versus Stink Team? Yeah, we know that. No wins. Dead homies. Beating the shit out. Yeah. Ask everyone in the county jail. This rap shit on it. Dead homies. Yeah. County jail, no wins on none of the homies. Dead homies. Yeah, catch up, Mills. Slap hang out. My brother knocked J Bird out. Yeah. What? Red Bull beat his ass. Talking about 7 Flame beat his ass. Dead homies. Yeah, no wins. Oh, the rap cap. Asked him, bro, about fights in the county jail. No wins. Dead homies. I beat the shit out of Solo on the dead homies. No wins. On none of the homies. Catch up. Beat the shit out. No good. Black eyes. Couldn't even open his eyes. Ask that don't get along with they steal bloods. Ask them the real stories. Dead homies. No wins on none of my homies.
Draco goes on to say that he's even going to beat up his ops and their security at Rolling Loud, and that he loves fighting so much he doesn't need a gun.
Let's see if he's got all that tough shit when we do this.
Bro, he was talking way too crazy. Bro, he was just way too hot-headed, dude.
Rolling Loud on the dead homies, because you just can't fight. We're going to beat the shit out you. We come to jail. Y'all don't come to jail. Dead homies fighting is nothing. So we're going to see when it's Rolling Loud and ain't no guns and all that. When we beating the shit out of y'all and y'all security. Why we even talking about fighting? Fighting is fun though. But nah, we ain't doing no fighting. Unless we getting paid. We can get paid. We can get paid off the fight.
Why are you smiling like that?
I'll beat the ass with the AP on.
Draco goes on to say that he will knock out AZ Chike, and that when his ops beef him, their OGs get so scared they have to warn everybody that the Stink Team might actually pull up to their hood and shoot people.
Why he even comment on Ralphie shit on their dead homie? He gonna go to
his nose fat too.
Bro, he gonna go to Chike, bro. Chike, bro. He's gonna go to sleep the first 2 seconds. Dead homie. That's why he quiet when he popping that shit. He's be in the background like, hey, bro, don't do that, bro. He's gonna really come over here and shoot one of the homies in the face. Dead homie.
Despite being out of jail for months at this point, Draco still seemed obsessed with jailhouse politics, going live again around 8 days later on June the 19th, alongside Ralphie, speaking publicly on fights that they had with Englewood members whilst in jail.
That guy in the ring with me left out bad, no cap. Since I was like 11 years old, that guy in the ring with me left out bad.
They don't like bringing up that part. J Bird, he was asleep.
Oh yeah, went to sleep in the cell. He thought he was big and all might doing all them push-ups. He got up in the ring and said, ooh. Oh,
oh my God.
What?
Yeah, Red Bull.
They don't like to tell the stories how they homies got their ass beat. They got too many. All victorious victories.
Beat the shit out of Solo.
What?
Put him out.
Draco then begins to tell everybody that AZ Chike apparently only joined the Bloods at age 25.
You gangbang, you a bitch. Bitch. You don't want to tell this bitch you got put on at 25.
A few days later, on June the 23rd, 2021, Draco goes live again.
25 is kind of crazy, bro. Aren't you supposed to be, like, having a career at least? Like, what are we talking about?
Bragging about the assortment of cars that he brought when he got out of jail.
You see how I came, as soon as I get out, Double R, Range Rover, S550. Stop playing with me. I'm not the one to play with. Just hated that I was in jail. The real is out of jail now. Y'all got some to compete with. Yeah, homie.
He went on to taunt his ops, telling them that he's outside and that they shouldn't even think about pulling up on him.
Outside, where you say I don't be at, I'm always outside. Who was that? It's a outside. They like, man, that bitch ass on live right now. He think he's safe. We know where he at. Go pull up on him. Don't think about it.
Clearly, there was a lot of danger lurking in these LA streets, and it wouldn't be long until another person lost their life. Because on July the 8th, Indian Red Boy, the blood who had been seen on IG Live with Capone after defacing Nipsey Hussle's mural, would be murdered in the most shocking way, being shot dead whilst on IG Live with Capone himself, quite literally being shot up on camera and dying in front of all of his followers. What? That footage is still circulating, but is far too violent to show you.
What?
On YouTube. The war playing out on LA streets was a dangerous game, but thankfully, in between the death, disses, and destruction, Draco was still finding the time to drop off fire music. His next album, Ain't That the Truth, would drop on July the 23rd.
I think I've reacted to 1 or 2 songs from this tape. I reacted to the Shy Glizzy one. That will also be up soon, guys.
The project containing possibly my favourite Draco song, Flu Flammer Op, a certified banger that has Draco at his best, came with a music video.
I reacted to this song. Holy shit, this was good, bro. Draco was on some zesty ass timing though.
That dropped later that month, where Draco once again showed off his beloved Rolls-Royce Dawn extensively. And on that song, Ralphie the Plug has some eyebrow-raising lyrics, seeming to take responsibility for Red Bull's murder, where he says, "Another one dead if you put your hands on this jewelry. All 12 said not guilty, you heard the jury." Draco would also appear to reference Indian Red Boy's graphic murder on IG Live in lyrics from the mixtape's opening track, Just Dance, where Draco raps, "Since they like Instagram so much they gon' die on it, 223 shells rocking in his head while he live streaming." So while Draco was dropping some of the best music of his career, it was coming out to a backdrop of escalating LA violence. On August the 10th, 2021, Englewood members were targeted in a shooting where a car carrying Frosty and one of his friends was shot up and hit multiple times, crashing, with Frosty being hit and surviving, but his friend ultimately losing his life.
Well, more breaking news at this hour, this time in Englewood, where police are investigating a double shooting.
There was a shooting here. 2 people sent to the hospital in critical condition off to a local trauma center, and you see this car that crashed. Looks like it's involved in the crash. It's unclear if the people inside were shot or if that's a suspect vehicle. We don't have any information about a suspect being in custody, but 2 people had to be transported to the hospital. Pretty serious shooting here with La Brea shut down.
Frosty would even go live following the shooting, still wearing all of his chains and continuing to gangbang on camera from the back of the ambulance.
What?
Yeah, that's from the dead homies. Y'all know what the f going on. I feel like El Chapo, bitch. I'm flaming. New music coming soon. Watch out for that. Go follow me on Snowgirl TV. Oh, I can't feel nothing in my arm. I'm ready to get tatted. Dead homie, my whole shit numb.
Bro, that's so unserious, bro. Holy shit, dude. Bro said, it's straight numb. Let me get tatted up. It's a good time, you know?
Oh, they had to make me a hand thing so I could throw up the B. I told them if I can't throw up the B on F Street, it's bad. No wheelchair for me on the hood. You know, I'm gonna purchase me some new legs immediately. Stop playing. 5,000 a leg.
To be in that high of spirits after a situation like this, bro, it brings a smile to my face. It's a sad situation he went through, having to lose his homie, but it's good to see that he's in high spirits, you know?
On F Street, I can't hold the phone in my right hand. I can still sock it on F Street. They gotta transport me by myself with extra security. Yeah, on F Street, my dingling still work on flaming. You think I don't got G-Wagons and shit following me? I don't think y'all can see it yet. I think we don't got the G-Wagons in the back and all the shits, Rolls Royces and all that. When you a rich, they treat you good, you feel me? They kept my chains for me.
Bro, he was providing entertainment for those 2 ambulance drivers. That's crazy.
Me?
With Frosty even telling an audience of IG followers that him and his homie Darby had 2 guns on them when they were attacked, but they didn't get to them in time.
All in the comments. I need to see FIP Darby. That's on the dead homies. We had 2 straps on us. It just, life had happened like that. We had 2 guns. Yeah, and we still, it happened. Just caught us lacking. Sad.
While one Englewood rapper was recovering from a tragedy, another was angling to escalate the beef with Draco. On August the 19th, 2021, Munchie B, the blind OG from Englewood, who appeared in the Hood vlog alongside Red Bull, would release a Draco diss song called The Truth is the Truth, with the song's title being a play on the titles of Draco's mixtape series, which are all named after the truth in some way. On the song, Munchie B dissed Draco's brother Ralphie, saying that he stole his rap style from Frosty. He referenced Stink Team member Solo snitching during the Red Bull trial. He mocked Ketchy the Great for being hit by a car. He even disses Draco's young son, saying he's going to beat him up when he turns 18. A savage
holy shit.
Diss, but from here there would be much more musical activity coming from Englewood. As also in August, word would spread of an upcoming collaboration track between Englewood affiliates AZ Chike and Rucci and Louisiana rap legend Lil Boosie. This would lead Draco to publicly diss Lil Boosie for making songs with his op AZ Chike, with Draco saying Boosie has been picking the wrong people to work with and that he's now lost all.
I mean, shit, if you would have showed some respect to Draco, you were talking about, oh, I done beat more than Boosie. I mean, yeah, you did, but it's the way you say things, you know, like...
All respect for him. Though in all fairness, Draco seemed to have been sneak dissing Boosie ever since he got out of jail, with one of the first songs that he dropped after getting out being a track called Lil Boosie, where Draco says that his charges topped Lil Boosie's murder charges. AZ Chike would respond saying that Draco was trying to blackball him from the rap game and suggesting that Boosie just doesn't care about his opinion. And Chike would later post a story mocking Draco, suggesting that Boosie would never care about his opinion.
What y'all think that motive was? Like, what was the end result of telling Boosie you lost all respect for him? Was Boosie supposed to take his verse?
Bro, what's up with Chike and the earrings? Oh my god, dude. Oh my fucking god, dude.
Respect? Was he supposed to be like, God darn it, Draco?
That is
You're
feminine.
right. He's quote unquote losing respect for somebody he's never met a day in his life. They never exchanged words. They didn't even have a prior relationship to what he said. We actually got a lot of mutuals. A whole lot of mutuals, bro. It's who just took a pic with him that I with. You don't see me saying I lost respect for them or none of that shit.
And Boosie himself would even later commentate on the situation in a DJ Vlad interview, ultimately saying Draco's beefs have nothing to do with him and don't influence who he's going to collab with. But Draco's anger about his ops getting a Boosie feature was minor in comparison to the explosion of beef he was about to release onto the LA rap scene. As on August the 20th, 2021, Draco previews a new song called Englewood on his IG Live. One song dissing the entire city of Englewood. And people were all in the comments telling Draco to shoot the music video in Englewood if he's really that tough, causing Draco to warn his ops not to be doing all that.
Shoot the video in Englewood, tough guy. Y'all know what's up. Don't do all that on my shit.
Draco would go on to say once again that when people from Englewood diss him, their OGs tell them to chill out because they know he'll go there and do something crazy.
Why you think when that bitch ass dissed me, was on that? You know why they was on him? Yeah, they was on him because they like, yeah, he gonna come through here. Yeah, stop running your mouth because you don't gotta deal with that when it's come through here and get to acting crazy.
Draco would of course go on to diss Rucci and AZ Chike extensively, mainly focused on questioning their street credentials and financial stability.
What street shit is Chike doing?
He said, what are the stats? Where's the box score? I'm curious, you know? I don't want to hear whoop-de-woo. Show me the stats, my guy. I want to see the stats.
I'll wait.
You're chubby.
What street shit is Rucci doing? I'll wait. Cause wearing rags in videos don't make you.
Draco answer questions like this.
Street. How many bodies did this be? I'll wait. How many times did even been to jail? I'll wait. Have you went to jail for a traffic ticket? Suspended license. Burglary. Robbery. Commercial burglary. Oh, okay. Nothing? Never been to the county? Okay.
Now we're flexing charges? Alright. That's just like, come on, man.
Yeah. 2,500. 5,000. 50. Yeah.
You just get caught.
50. All right. What type of cars drive?
Acting like he did something.
Okay.
He did.
Have cars. Okay. Before pull up and slap on it, because you know what I really be on.
That very same day, Draco goes live again, dissing his ops, saying they never went to jail like him, and saying again that they're too broke to have cars.
Then to make a song about the homie getting hit by cars and all type of shit, bro. Y'all didn't do that.
And a week later, on the 7th of September, Draco premieres the full-blown music video to his scathing diss track, Englewood. And it's got bar after bar mocking the entire city of Englewood, saying that he's...
I don't think I've listened to that. I have not listened to that. Nope. Okay. If y'all want me to check that out, leave it down below.
Going to turn the whole of California against Englewood, and that he plans on tying up and hanging his ops. He says he'll turn the suburbs of Englewood to a gym factory, which honestly I'm still not entirely sure what that means. Let me know in the comments if you know. It sounds bad. He calls Englewood natives weenies. He says a lot of people...
What the fuck? Y'all some weenies. Weenie Hut Jr.
in Englewood are snitches. He disses Rucci and calls him poor. He disses AZ Trike in numerous lyrics, including one where he questions why he would join a gang at 25, and saying that he'll hang him up like a coat.
What did that say?
Including one where he questions why he would join a gang at 25, and saying that he'll...
Bruce Lee kicks on the mop, knock his plugs out. He's a cult member, hang him up like a coat then.
Hang him up like a coat, as well as mocking AZ Trike and Rucci for still being cold in the music industry despite getting their feature from Lil Boosie. With this being a reference to the fact that their collab track Hood Rat still hasn't passed 400,000 views on YouTube. Draco also says on the song that he dropped 50 on a blind person, which seems to suggest that he was putting up money for a hit on Englewood member Munchie B, who was previously shot in the head and left blind. Draco goes on to rap that his ops are as sweet as buttercups, and that he'll turn...
Dude, sweet as buttercups, turn his ass to Reese's Pieces.
That ass to Reese's Pieces, with this being an apparent reference to a rumoured prison incident, which may or may not have happened involving Munchie B, some peanut butter, and some pretty unpleasant things.
A lot of people talk about an incident over a decade ago where Munchie B from IFGB was beat up and had peanut butter logged into his rear end. Allegedly, the COs purposely put him in a crypt dorm. Munchie was sucker punched after a few head-ups with NH and knocked out. They dragged him into a different part of the bathroom, and several 60s brought items from commissary and snuck in a broomstick and violated his rectum. Some rumors say he was raped, but from what all I heard is he was urinated on, and he had peanut butter stuffed up his rear end with a broomstick. This caused an all-out riot. It is alleged that Munchie is responsible for between 4 to 10 casualties between the 60s and the 100s, and at the time was the IFGB's most feared and active frontliner.
That I just don't even want to get into here. Draco ends the track with one final dose of disrespect, saying "Free Kells," a reference to that Stink Team member who was convicted of murdering Red Bull. Now, I personally think that after all of the drama with Draco fighting the cops and prosecutors, even after beating his case, it's pretty likely that the cops were watching his every move. And I've got no doubt that after the song Englewood released, the police would have been aware that Draco had just made a public declaration of war on everyone in Englewood and were probably keeping a close eye on him. And with that in mind, it's not massively surprising that only a day after Draco released Englewood, he was arrested whilst riding in the back of an Uber. Wow. Draco would actually go live on Instagram whilst being pulled over by the police, with his son in the back of an Uber having a full-scale meltdown as to how the cops knew to target him in the back of a taxi.
You're getting detained for 148, delaying my investigation.
What is your investigation?
I already told y'all, 10 windows. I don't have an ID. And I need to identify you. He gave me his ID. You're not giving me your ID.
Mind you, still got your seatbelt on. Exactly, got my seatbelt on because I'm with my son.
I know, but I'm asking you, I'm back in the car. But now, I want you to put the phone down and put your hands up here.
I'm on live. What are you talking about? I'm on live.
Okay, I don't care about being on live. I'm on live too. See this? LAPD got me on live too.
I'll take my seatbelt.
You can put the phone down. If you want to point the phone at me, that's fine.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right. I don't know what's going on right now, bro. This is crazy. I jumped in the Uber, bro, to pick up my son, bro. Literally.
5-1. Have all units respond.
My son is in the car, bro.
This is crazy, bro.
Approaching 251.
This is. Got my son with me in the car, bro.
That's crazy. I never knew about this.
This is crazy, bro.
I'm asking you not to go in your pocket.
I'm putting my phone in my pocket, bro.
No, but I don't want you to go in your pocket.
What are y'all on?
I don't want you to do it. I don't want you. I don't like you. Shut the fuck up, man.
Bro?
I'm not on anything. I'm not yelling or screaming or nothing.
Like, you asked the Uber driver, bro.
Like, his ID. I asked you for your ID.
What's going on right now, bro?
And then when I asked for a backup, you wanted to give me your ID. And then I asked you to step out of the car. You told me no.
I didn't tell you no. I said, what am I stepping out the car for?
Because we have the right to pull you out of the car.
For
you
what?
Didn't have an ID. At first, you didn't have an ID.
I just noticed it was behind my shit.
At first, you allegedly didn't have an ID. So I want to identify you.
This shit is crazy, bro. This shit is crazy. What the f is going on?
So I'm telling you right now, you're the one who's escalating this, and you're the one who's stating you have your kid in the car. I didn't want to do this in front of your kid.
But you seen it. You was behind me, bro.
I can still pull you over, your kid in the car or not.
What are you talking about, bro? What is going on?
So this is where we're going to be at right now. My supervisor here, I'm going to tell you, my supervisor here, and then we got a couple more units in here. We're going to ask you one more time to step out, and if you say no, then we're gonna do what we gotta do to get you out.
It's crazy,
and then I'm
bro.
gonna take you out, and then I'm gonna take you to jail.
What the is going on, bro? Sir, let's not do this in front of the kids. So what? Why are y'all pulling me? What did I do for y'all to put me? Y'all pulling over an Uber driver, bro. What is going on? But we need him going with the program. What is the? Just get out of the car and we'll handle it. Bro, what are you talking about? Just give us a second. Boss, let's make this easy. It's not a big deal. Bro, what the fuck are you?
Nah, this is kind of weird, bro. Like, how did they know that he was in the Uber? How did they know that?
This is crazy, bro.
Let's do this the right way.
What are we doing, bro? Why? What is going on?
Look at these weirdos in the comments. Crybaby. Shut the fuck up, bitch ass motherfucker.
Oh no. Exactly, bro. Why are y'all pulling me over? He said that he put him over for tint windows. This is an Uber driver, bro. This has nothing to do. What is he talking about? Exactly.
We'll explain everything.
This shit is crazy, bro. This shit is crazy, bro.
Let's just make this real easy. You got a bunch of cops coming over here for nothing. And we'll deal with it.
What are we dealing with, bro?
Little man, I'm gonna take your kid out of the car, okay?
What is going on, bro? Look. What is...
Hey,
bro, just hop out the car, bro.
Grab him first. We're gonna get the Uber driver out first. Hey, go ahead and grab the kid.
What the is going on right now, bro?
Yeah, everybody come.
What is going on?
He's in the seatbelt, Sarge.
What the is going on right now?
Bro, just get out the fucking car, bro.
Oh.
Come on, baby.
Hey, I don't know your name. What's your name?
Man,
huh? What's your name, sir?
My name, bro.
What's your name?
Daryl.
No, I don't, bro. But I don't understand why y'all doing this.
Daryl, just go with the program. That's it.
I'm on live, bro. I'm on live, bro. I don't have nothing on me, bro. I'm on live, bro. What are y'all doing, bro?
Don't fight us, dude.
Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Don't fight us. Don't fight us, man.
Bro. What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing? I'm on live, bro. Hold up, bro. Hold up. What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all, bro? What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing, bro?
Draco would later be seen being led away from the scene in handcuffs.
That's disturbing, honestly.
Being taken into custody, with many speculating he'd been caught with another gun. Following this situation, Draco was taken to the station, he bailed out, and then went live on Instagram, suggesting that the ops are the ones snitching on him.
How many times have you ever seen that before? Pulling over Ubers. Pulled over an Uber. With my son in there. All they gonna do is tell him, I know
After this, Draco would go live once again, suggesting that somebody from Englewood had something to do with his arrest, and saying that the ops are hoping that he gets beaten up in jail.
Then he like, oh yeah, well, then he talking about me getting a book yesterday. He talking about some, yeah, well, maybe because he made that diss song against the whole Englewood, like this is a threat to me, bro. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You talking about, you sound like the police. You talking about, if I wasn't worried, you got smacked. You think I'm worried about a diss song? Come on, bro. Well, man, and he said it's not always gonna be the same as last time. And I know what people are saying. Oh, yeah.
That chain is so nice, dude.
Yeah, man, well, he was catching fades last time. Yeah, every time ain't the same. So if I was catching fades last time, so maybe it might be nice this time, bro. Maybe you bitch ass, you talking about 2 or 3 niggas. Yeah.
Bro, back in 2021, Ass Cheeks was already a nickname. That's what Joey Badass called him. He was like, who the fuck is Ass Cheeks?
Maybe since that died, bro, didn't want to fight me then. Maybe two or three might be bold enough to fight me then. You hear that? Snitch ass. Getting Ubers pulled over. Damn, fucking wrong with you.
Sadly, it was this moment when fans began to get concerned about Draco. A post on the subreddit Cali Banging, Reddit's premier community discussing California gang politics, saw a fan pondering Draco's toxic personality, suggesting this might be the reason that he's not going to make it out alive. Pointing out that more people like Draco than he even thinks in LA, but implying that he is sabotaging his own career by
a self-made millionaire. For whatever reason, he is involving himself in gang beef, constantly speaking on live about having all these haters and ops. More people like this man than hate him from all sides in LA. He is self-sabotaging. Why the man has to diss an entire city is beyond me. He is going to sabotage his career and maybe lose his life over this bullshit. And he doesn't even bang.
leaning into gang beefs when
is he wrong? He's really not wrong.
He should be focusing on his career after getting the industry boost that comes with working with a mainstream artist like Drake. Some suggested in the comments that perhaps it was Draco's lean addiction or PTSD from solitary confinement that had been clouding his judgment recently, with some going as far as to say that if Draco continues down this path, he's unlikely to see 2022. With hindsight, it's clear to see just how right these fans were. Draco essentially signed his own death certificate when he released Englewood, but perhaps he just couldn't see it through the muddy puddles of lean clouding his judgment. Naturally, a response to the song would be coming from Englewood. Thankfully, this begun with back and forths in music rather than violence, with AZ Chike taking to Instagram Live on August the 25th, revealing his new Draco diss song, Lil Stink Stink, with Draco raiding the chat on the IG Live.
That's a crazy title. Lil Stink Stink.
Personally, to mock and threaten AZ Chike. Draco said people get smacked for speaking on the Stink team. He said Chike's own homies are warning him not to drop the song. He called the track garbage. He suggested that he had sent a request to join the live, which Chike had ignored and just let sit there, and leaving one final ominous comment saying everybody from Englewood gets killed anyway. It's no wonder that the track got under Draco's skin, when the song itself included sampled audio of Draco being arrested in that Uber only days before. In response to the track, Stink Team member Money Monk apparently pulled up to AZ Chike's house looking for a fight.
Chike, where you at, bitch ass? I'm at your house. And it's your house, Chike? Where you at? Huh, where you at? Okay, check, Chike, or get in this month. Come outside and play, bitch. I'm in your parking lot for like 20 minutes, marked ass.
In the days that followed, Draco would continue mocking his ops online. On August the 27th, he posted up on IG, wearing sunglasses and pretending to be blind, saying that he's doing the Munchie Bee challenge. Draco's latest disses had Reddit.
Bro, this guy was such a troll.
Was convinced that he would be dead soon, unless somebody stepped in and talked some sense to him. But since Englewood, the line had been crossed, and there really did appear to be no turning back for the Stink Team now. On September the 8th, 2021, Money Monk would go on to drop
Peanut Butter Booty Pack. That's just nasty.
The song Peanut Butter Booty Pack, a scathing Munchie Bee diss once again referring to that peanut butter incident, and a week after that, on September the 16th, 2021, Draco pulled up for an interview on No Jumper once again, this time speaking incredibly recklessly. He opens up by saying that he is a completely different person to who he was in the last interview, suggesting that in the last interview with No Jumper he was fresh out of solitary confinement and still suffering mental health challenges, saying that now after some recovery time, he's a cocky millionaire ready to hurt his ops feelings.
See, I'm myself now, so it might be a little
See,
this interview is different.
You were saying that last time you were here,
I was fresh out of jail, bro. I just
different version of yourself.
Like, yeah, bro. I was inside there vibe, like fucking almost 30 months, bro. Like it's different now, though. I'm a millionaire now. It's kind of different.
All right, bro. That eyebrow lift. All right, bro.
I think that's what they mad about. Because everybody was laughing when I was in jail. Same way they was laughing when I was getting booked by the police.
In the interview, Draco would also reveal that he was once again booked for possession of a firearm by a felon after being arrested in that Uber.
But they didn't press any charges on you or anything?
No, yeah, they said,
oh, wait, they said they found a gun.
Felon with a firearm or something.
Draco would then go on to reference the Munchie Bee peanut butter incident once again, all while very diplomatic co-host AD tried to avoid saying anything that would escalate things, giving Adam22 a strong eye to try and get him to move on to another topic, all while Draco was warning that the ops are going to be after Adam next.
Did you see the part where...
about the peanut butter?
No,
I'm done.
Peanut butter?
My bad.
Who got peanut butter?
That's a whole nother situation. They might come for you after Adam. Street shit.
Oh my god.
Do that.
Stay away from it, Adam. I don't want to say nothing about peanut butter, whatever the that is.
What would you do if somebody put peanut butter in your ass?
Oh my god. Well, it would really depend on the person.
Yeah, all right, we're just going to end this thing.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
We're not going to touch on this, Adam, because...
If my girl wanted to do that, I mean, it is what it is.
Stay away from it.
That dude Adam's always been a freak.
Okay,
leave it alone, bro.
Jesus Christ. All
See,
right.
that's why I told you, man. Are y'all going to be ready for me today?
Hey,
Because,
that's good.
You feel me?
Gina's telling me not to engage with this. I don't know what it is. She's just like, stay out of this, Adam.
Hey.
I look, Adam.
LA. It's a complicated
You know
place.
me, bro. I don't care.
But Draco wasn't done clowning Munchie Bee or dragging Adam22 unwillingly into LA gang politics, as Draco proceeds to ask Adam what he would do if a blind person said they were after him.
Hey, if somebody that can't see said that they was gonna like slide on you, how would that happen? Like, you blind. I'm just wondering this, like, how are you gonna like do anything if you blind? You can't see. You can't even drive. Okay, nobody. Nobody important. This is crazy.
I don't.
Was he the best troll? Was he actually the best troll?
My bad. I know the truth.
From here, a confused Adam says that he often doesn't know exactly what people are talking about when they make inside references on his podcast, with Adam inferring that he didn't know what YG was talking about when he came on No Jumper and said that his crew are really gonna get his ops, with Draco clapping back and saying YG isn't really tough.
Sometimes I feel like people are talking in innuendo on my podcast and I'm kind of like not in the loop. Remember the YG interview?
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I didn't really like get that there were coded messages in there that you would feel a way about.
Nah, it wasn't no coded messages because people are not like that, so it don't even matter.
That's kind of like what you said.
Yeah.
Wow, bro. He was so fucking cocky.
Naturally, the conversation would eventually turn to Englewood, with a newly cocky Draco the Ruler leaving nothing off the table. He started by saying that he has enemies that don't gangbang, but represent Englewood and are united in hating him, ultimately saying that he will never resolve his issues with Englewood.
That don't gangbang, bang Englewood like it's a gang. Like Englewood, and if you beef with anything over here, we're gonna have each other back.
Well, I hope all that shit gets resolved.
Never.
And Draco goes on to say that his ops aren't really killers, saying they don't own guns and their threats against him are not valid.
Do not be like that, Adam. I'm telling you, bro. Like, cause we be laughing and joking about the situations. Motherfucker be like, I'ma kill you. Like, you don't even own a gun.
And finally, Draco would end the interview by saying, "Free Kells."
You got any last words?
Yep. Free kills.
Once again, not all of Draco's fans were pleased at his latest appearance. Redditors on Cali Banging would come out to say they were...
Anyone else think Draco acting like he's some street god is annoying now? This new Tammet, he beat a murder like he the one behind the trigger. All the dude did was drive away from the party. The dude literally beat the charge because he was innocent. It was some corrupt judge shit going on. Calm down, little boy. You know my rank out here to GBO gas station? What rank? You don't gangbang, and you've denied that you gangbang numerous times.
were annoyed at what they described as Draco's arrogant street god persona, with some pointing out that his ego had gotten out of control and saying that he finally got a second chance at life, beating his case, and yet now he's deciding to go straight back into the dark depths of LA gang politics. These are statements that would echo earlier concerns from Draco's fans that his destructive and confrontational attitude would end in tragedy. But at this point the wheels were in motion, and Draco's path into one of the most dangerous situations that the gang lifestyle has to offer would now be unstoppable. A few days after his No Jumper appearance on September the 19th, 2021, Draco would speak again in an IG story, saying that the Bloods actually like him apart from the ones in Englewood.
Oh, bless me. Northern Cali Bloods. Now, let me scratch that. South Central Bloods, Compton Bloods, Pasadena Bloods, San Diego Bloods, Bakersfield Bloods, Northern Cali Bloods, Stockton Bloods, Sacramento Bloods. Just one group of individuals who don't like me.
Englewood.
Crazy, ain't it?
And a few days after that, on September the 22nd, Munchie B drops another diss track called Last Lap.
Dude better put respect on the Bink team. Y'all let Solo take down the Stink team.
Dissing both Draco and Nipsey Hussle, whose mural was vandalized by Capone. Eventually, more of Draco's enemies would come out to dispute things he'd said. AZ Trike addressed Draco claiming that he joined a gang at 25 in an Innovators interview.
What can I gain from joining a gang at 25 that I already got right now?
Trike would go on to say that Draco has issues with his homies. Not him, but it wouldn't be realistic to be cool with Draco, considering the history with Englewood.
That is some problems he got going on with the homies. They got nothing to do with me. And that's why he mad, because I with him and I'm loyal to him.
In conclusion, Trike would say that he believes that Draco is simply hating on them.
It ain't no beef, it's a bitch and he be hating, like, it's weird.
The day after that dropped, Draco would continue putting his pressure on Englewood, posting a document purporting to be proof that Frosty had snitched. Then on October the 14th, 2021, Rucci and AZ Trike pull up to No Jumper for their own interview, with Rucci mocking Draco for making the song Engleweird a song all about dissing AZ Trike, when Trike isn't actually from Englewood originally.
The song's called Engleweird. It's about him. He not from Englewood.
They would go on to say that everybody in the Stink team sucks at rapping, apart from Ketchy and Draco, who they say is hanging on by a thread.
It ain't rapping because them can't rap. Well, there's only one over there that can rap, and he hanging on by a string.
Who you over there?
Little fat boy, little fat girl, he's straight. Like, you know what I'm saying? He do his thing time to time. The only other over there that was really greasy, very talented, like really some shit, RP was Catchy.
Trike also appeared in a bootleg Kev interview, saying Draco is simply mad that him and Rucci's careers heated up, and saying that he's only mad because they turned him down for a feature whilst he was still in jail.
What the hell happened with Draco the Ruler? Because don't you guys have
Dub Diamondback's hat.
mutual people involved in each of y'all situations? So where did things go left?
He don't like that we hot. When he was in jail though, he wanted on there though. I told him no, cause I f***ed Englewood, and that was it.
Rucci went on to say that his entire hood didn't get on with Draco.
My city, I'm from Englewood. We don't get along, bro, as a whole. You feel what I'm saying? So, oh, you just doing that because you with them. Nah, it's the homie being loyal, bro. Right. You feel me? But
I've never heard of Rucci, bro. Should I react to him? Let me know.
nah, we just with nothing over there. They keep hating and keep saying something about it, so it's like
The way he's smiling, oh nah.
Attention.
Ultimately claiming not to be happy about the Englewood song and saying it sucks.
What'd you think of it, like as a song? That shit was not tight. Yeah.
It could have been better.
Yeah,
honestly.
the beat was hard as.
You know, it didn't sound threatening. Like, man.
At this point, a whole lot of tension had brewed between the Stink team and Englewood, and it really was just a matter of time until the two groups bumped into each other and things boiled over. But for now, Draco and the Stink team would be more focused on music and money, spending time performing on their Long Live the Great tour.
Long Live the Great tour. We had Draco. Who else? This is a tiny ass tour. It's only the West Coast.
Dedicated to the memory of Ketchy the Great through September and October, with Draco eventually playing a big December 12th show.
Wow, he was on the second line of Rolling Loud Cali 2021. Cudi, J. Cole, and Future. Cardi. Bro, this lineup was so peak. Holy shit. Rob Banks. I see Nardo Wick. God Damn, Big 30, B Slime, Kenny Mason, Stunna Girl, oh my, Kyla Huawei.
Show on the bill for LA's Rolling Loud Festival. This was a big opportunity for Draco to perform in front of a crowd of tens of thousands of fans. It must have been an enormous moment for Draco's career. To have beaten the death penalty in a life sentence, getting out and overcoming the trauma of years in solitary confinement, and building up your rap career to the point where you've got thousands of adoring fans screaming his lyrics at the top of their lungs. Getting to this point was an incredible achievement for Draco that's nothing short of amazing. But the sad fact is, this show would be the last one that Draco would ever play. On December the 18th, 2021, Draco was set to perform his next show at the Once Upon a Time in LA Music Festival. He arrived to the venue in his iconic Rolls-Royce Dawn and an incredibly small entourage who were meticulously searched and stripped of any weapons upon arrival at the venue. Draco had apparently been given a maximum of 15 wristbands for his entourage, which in the end only stood 6 people strong, plus just one lone security guard. It was around 8:30 p.m. when things went left.
They stood no chance, dude. One security guard, you stood no chance.
Draco, Ralphie, and others engaged in a scuffle, as apparently somebody in the distance shouted, "Fuck the Stink Team, fuck Draco," with the Stink Team immediately set to square up and squabble with their opposition. Draco, Ralphie, and others begin to engage in a scuffle, but what begins as a fair fight soon swells into a mob brawl, as dozens more people appear to face off with the Stink Team in a fight. According to witnesses, the attackers are apparently blood members. The mob of attackers, mostly wearing red, descend on the Stink Team.
The fight appears to be over, except for a couple of bruises. Nobody seems to be badly hurt. That's when the half-dozen antagonists are replaced by what looks like an army of the dead. They appear as if out of nowhere, sprinting helter-skelter in battalions of 20, mostly in red, mini ski mask, letting loose screams of warp and suwop.
Apparently hollering the famous blood chant, Su Wu. This gang of bloods was later described as being around 40 to 60 people strong, having the Stink Team only 6 men strong, massively outnumbered. With individuals at the scene notably being seen wearing 400 merch, the record and clothing label of blood rapper YG, who had allegedly arrived at the venue with his entourage shortly before this scuffle broke out. Footage of the altercation would later surface online, which despite being very chaotic, if slowed down and observed carefully, does appear to show the moment when Draco the Ruler is stabbed. These clips are far too violent to show you on YouTube, but if you want to see a full frame-by-frame breakdown of what happened in the footage, you can see that on my Patreon. Slow-motion footage circulating after the incident breaks down this short 20 seconds of fight footage in excruciating detail. Before the stabbing takes place, you can actually see somebody in a black ski mask being handed an object that looks like a knife. As the fight goes on, Draco's outnumbered crew are rushed back by the mob of bloods and separated from Draco. At this point, the individual who was earlier handed an object appears to swing a knife at Draco, with Draco putting out an open hand to block the blade. His use of an open palm to protect himself is notable because it suggests that he could see a blade coming towards him rather than a fist, which would have elicited a closed knuckle guard. From here, the camera pans to the right, and we don't see Draco being stabbed directly. However, from the audio, it appears as if somebody is shouting he has a knife, as we see what appears to be Stink Team members fleeing through a nearby gate. As they run, it sounds like somebody says, "We got him," perhaps a sign that the fatal stab to Draco's neck had just been administered. And while nothing more of this large rumble is seen in the clip, later more footage would emerge, seeming to show Draco the Ruler receiving medical attention as he lays on the ground bleeding from his neck. Draco would be transported from the venue to the hospital in critical condition, sadly being pronounced dead as a result of his stab wounds around midnight, roughly 4 hours after the altercation.
Chaos at a packed concert featuring rap legends like Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube. A person was stabbed and police have shut down the show.
Well, a man is reported dead after being stabbed at a concert in Exposition Park last night. TMZ is reporting the victim was rapper Draco the Ruler. It happened around 8:30 last night during the Once Upon a Time in LA Music Festival being held at the Bank of California Stadium.
Draco's family and friends were left heartbroken after his tragic passing, as were the wider hip-hop community. The godfather of LA rap, Snoop Dogg, mourned the city's loss and described leaving the festival grounds as soon as he heard what had happened to Draco, choosing not to perform. Tory Lanez would come out to say that there will never be another artist like Draco, and Drake would remember how Draco had always lifted up his spirit with his energy. Draco's brother Ralphie would share an eerie story of his own, saying only
said the most craziest shit in his bar, and I argued him down to change it because words are powerful, especially when they come in from him. He had a gift of talking stuff into existence, but he just didn't want to change it. He said, "Tell God, save a bed for me. I'm coming soon, my brother. I'm coming soon." My brother was stubborn, but he knew what he wanted. He just wanted to see everybody winning, and it seemed like everybody wanted to see him lose. Oh my fucking God.
Only 2 days ago, Draco had rapped a lyric about God saving a bed for him because he's coming soon. Meanwhile, despite being upset, many of Draco's fans over on Reddit's Cali Banging were hardly surprised at his passing, with one commenter saying that Draco had been manifesting his own death with his own behaviour ever since he'd gotten out of jail, suggesting that drug use, ego and untreated PTSD, combined with a never-ending tendency to provoke his ops, and keeping nothing but yes men around him, ultimately meant that Draco's death was inevitable. But while Draco's friends and fans were mourning, looking for answers, Draco's ops would naturally be celebrating on social media. Many were turning his provocative lyrics and catchphrases against him, posting pictures of Draco with captions like, "He's never coming back and that's that," as well as mocking members of the Stink team for running off on Draco and not shooting back. Of course, Draco's top op Munchie B tweeted for Draco to rest in piss, later posing on Instagram with a knife, mocking
Okay, bro, that's why you had Reese's stuffed in your ass. Shut the fuck up, man.
Draco for being stabbed in the neck.
Stabbed him in the neck, you wanna take it there?
And Munchie B would go on to remix Draco's Englewood, combining his diss song with footage of Draco dying, and going on to put up a story pointing out that both Draco and Nipsey Hussle both spoke on his name in a disrespectful manner and both died slowly. It's no wonder that Munchie B was happy about Draco's passing, considering his close friendship with Red Bull, and just how disrespectful Draco had been to Munchie in some of his songs. Sadly for Draco, the man who famously rapped that fights don't matter would end up outnumbered and unarmed in a fight that would ultimately take his life. It's a sad ending that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And while fans all over LA and the world mourn the loss of an incredible artist, that sadness would pale in comparison to what Draco's family were going through at the time. Draco's mother vowed to sue Live Nation, citing negligence from the venue and lax security measures
On God, dude. That's terrible.
from staff, explaining in an interview with Rolling Stone that a large number of people arrived at the venue at the same time as YG, whilst Draco and Ralphie were rolling with a very small crew. She said that 40 to 60 people jumped the Stink team in a matter of seconds, leaving Ralphie overwhelmed and unable to protect Draco, who was left stabbed, ultimately concluding that while it was the killer that had the ill intention to take Draco's life, Draco's mother believes that the festival organisers should bear some responsibility for what happened backstage at their event, suggesting that she was pushing ahead with a lawsuit against Live Nation. Live Nation may very well bear some of the blame regarding the circumstances that caused Draco to lose his life that day, but ultimately the true responsibility lies with the killer who swung the knife and inflicted a fatal blow on Draco's neck during that fight. Following the announcement of Draco's death, the police apparently had 0 suspects, but that doesn't mean that the streets weren't talking, as Draco and Stink Team affiliate K7 would go live to the world saying that he believed that YG and his crew were responsible for Draco's death and blaming his security for providing the murder weapon.
I'm speaking facts, bro. YG a real life bitch. Bro, I'm so mad, bro. My mama, bro. YG did some whole shit, bro. And if I see Cuz, I'ma slap the shit out. We fighting big ass security. You got those security guards fight. Come on, bro. That shit ain't cool, bro. On my mama, bro. Them got the big ass ball security guards snuck in knives, all type of weird shit. Let them come 70 thick, but only told us we only can bring 15 people, bro. That don't make no sense, bro. You only told us we can bring 15 people, but let them bring 100 people, bro. YG can't perform in LA no more, bro. It's hating, bro. YG a real bitch, cuz. He knew Draco was gonna take his spot, cuz really set the whole shit up, bro. This shit was a setup from the start, bro. Bro, these ready for war, bro. YG can't perform in LA no more. So, you know what I'm saying? As soon as he came, it went bad, basically. Like, know what they was doing, bro.
Ultimately, at this time, it's unclear exactly who was responsible for Draco the Ruler's murder. His death was a huge loss for the LA music scene. His unique style and outspoken personality made him one of the most impactful artists to come out of the city over the last decade. But the real truth is that Draco was moving reckless and risking his life with his zero fucks given attitude to the LA
That is true.
gang scene. He maintained his innocence for around 3 years during the Red Bull case, fighting the death penalty in earnest. An innocent man being persecuted for his associations and mere friendships with the real killer. The fans rallied behind Draco, and ultimately, after a long wait, justice prevailed. Which in a way makes it so much more disappointing that after beating that case, he would come out and act so recklessly, using his music to prod and mock the surviving friends of the murdered man. Draco was competitive to a fault. It seems that he was unable to let anybody else in his city shine because he was just too focused on beefing his ops to the bitter end. And when Draco decided to wage war on the entire city of Englewood, it was really hard to see any outcome other than him getting hurt or killed. Draco sounded invincible when he rapped, but the reality is, anybody can get caught slipping if they let their guard down. And in the case of Draco the Ruler, when that day came, he went out fighting and standing on everything he said, going down as a legend of the rap game who truly lived and died by every word he said on the beat. Rest in peace, Draco the Ruler, and I hope you enjoyed that video.
Much props to Trap Lore Ross, bro. I think he really had an amazing outro along with a great video. After this, I will be watching the videos of... I'll watch the video of the IG Live one, and then I'll watch the Draco incident, bro. Super sad situation. This documentary was a long time coming, especially for two of my loyal motherfuckers on this Twitch stream, Trap and Raw. I hope y'all made it this far, my boy. This documentary definitely provided all the lore I need, bro. So when I listen to Draco on next stream, it's gonna be different, bro. So much love to everyone who tuned into this video. I appreciate all of y'all for showing love. Until next time.